Chapter 308. A month later, Rockheart, Chen Shua, Wang Ke, and the elder of the Purple Cloud Palace, perfected cultivator Zihao, arrived outside the array. As Rockheart controlled the array, a wave of energy spread out from the array and reached the center of the array where Tsing Hui was. This wave contained a strange power. It could awaken others from their closed-door cultivation, but it would not affect the cultivator who was in closed-door cultivation. Is the Grand Creation Festival about to begin? Tsing Hui opened his eyes. He had been waiting for this moment for a long time. I wonder what kind of miraculous things will happen after I obtain that piece of Fortune Divine Jade and fuse it with the Fortune Divine Jade I have. Tsing Hui thought to himself. He dusted himself off, stood up, and walked out of the 6 blazing mystic fire array. Outside the array, seeing Tsing Hui step out of the fire, several people came up to him. Perfected cultivator Zihao, who knew that Tsing Hui had cultivated the divine grade golden crow physique, smiled even more warmly than before. Dong Yang, you've finally come out of seclusion. Congratulations on cultivating the golden crow physique. With this physique, as long as you don't encounter cultivators who can restrain you or cultivators who are good at defense, you'll be invincible among your peers in the prominent divine grade. Even us true energy realm old fellows don't dare to face the power of a divine grade battle physique head-on. You flatter me, Elder Zihao. I'm just a prominent divine grade cultivator. How can I be compared to a saint-like perfected cultivator Zihao? Tsing Hui said modestly. The power of a divine grade battle physique is so powerful that even saints of transcendent realm of saints second grade wouldn't dare to face it head-on, let alone saints of first grade. They would have to stall for time, so Elder Dong Yang, there's no need to belittle yourself. If nothing goes wrong, Elder Dong Yang will definitely be one of the top 10 in this Grand Creation Festival. Chen Shua agreed with a smile. The other few people also had a look of deep agreement. Has the Grand Creation Festival begun? Tsing Hui turned to look at Sect Master Rockheart and Reverend Zihao. The Fortune Grand Banquet will officially begin in 10 days. Since the Fortune Divine Jade is being kept by the Great Sun Divine Palace, the location of the banquet is the Great Sun Divine Palace's branch in the Central Plains, which is not far from here. On the day of the banquet, many sex experts and geniuses will rush over from all directions. This Fortune Grand Banquet is also the grandest banquet on the Fortune mainland. Tsing Hui nodded. When are we leaving? The Burning Heaven sect is 3 days away from the Great Sun Divine Palace. However, it's best if we arrive 2 or 3 days earlier so that I can tell you who is a threat in this year's Good Fortune Gathering. Thus, you cultivate for a few days and we will officially depart 4 days later. All right. Immediately, Tsing Hui was led by Rockheart, Sage Zihao, Chen Shua, and the others into the Burning Sky sect. However, before they arrived at the Burning Sky sect's main hall, a majestic aura rolled over from the Holy Flame Cave's direction, pressing down on Tsing Hui. The aura was filled with provocation. Guest Elder Dong Yang, you haven't forgotten our agreement, right? Ling Shi's voice pierced through the air, reverberating in the open space. This is, Sage Zihao looked at Rockheart with a trace of scrutiny in his eyes. Rockheart hurriedly explained the agreement between Ling Shi and Tsing Hui. In the end, she smiled wryly and said, I've already told Ling Shi not to be presumptuous in front of the sex envoys. Who would have thought that she would still be so obstinate? Rest assured, Elder Zihao, I will definitely punish her severely when the time comes and let her understand the meaning of seniority. Sage Zihao did not say anything. Instead, he turned to Tsing Hui and asked, Dong Yang, how do you think we should deal with this matter? Tsing Hui glanced at the calm Sage Zihao. He vaguely understood that Sage Zihao had already known that such an accident would happen. The reason why he did not stop him and even asked him was probably because he wanted to see the authenticity of the divine grade golden crow combat body with his own eyes. He did not want to waste a precious opportunity when the Fortune Grand Banquet arrived. Since I have an agreement with young Lord Ling Shi, I will fulfill it. As Tsing Hui spoke, his eyes fell on Ling Shi, who was descending from the void. Good, Elder Dong Yang is indeed worthy of being an envoy of the sect. You are a man of your word. This is not the place to fight. How about we go to the Heaven Abandonment Valley to fight? As the host, as the guest. Tsing Hui gestured with his hand. Alright, since the two of you insist on fighting it out, we will not force you. However, both of you are the pride of the Purple Cloud Palace. Any injuries will be a loss to the Purple Cloud Palace. Therefore, I hope that both of you will know when to stop. Sage Siheo said solemnly. Of course. Don't worry, Elder. I know what to do. The two of them replied at the same time. Immediately, Reverend Ziheo, Rockhart, Chen Shua, Wang Ke, and even the other two true energy elders of the Burning Sky sect walked out as well. They followed Qing Su and Ling Shi to the Heaven Abandonment Valley. With the 4 saint stage experts around, even if an accident happened, they would be able to set things right immediately. Soon, the group arrived at the Heaven Abandonment Valley. The Heaven Abandonment Valley was a completely deserted valley filled with boiling lava. Not to mention mortals, even Immortality Realm experts would find it difficult to survive here if they did not have a high enough cultivation base. Fortunately, Chen Shua, Rockhart, Ziheo, and Wang Ke were not weak. Otherwise, they would not even be qualified to watch the battle. What weapon do you use? Ling Shi looked at Tsing Hui and stood on her sword. She had a serious expression on her face. Although Blue Netherworld Realm experts could fly, their speed was much slower than flying on swords. Therefore, they usually stood on their swords when they fought in the air. When I obtained the Primal Chaos Inheritance, I obtained several divine weapons by chance. Young Sect Master Ling Shi, you can attack as much as you want. When I need to use these divine weapons, I will naturally use them. Tsing Hui said calmly. Okay, then don't blame me. Ling Shi's expression turned cold. In the next moment, a flag flickering with raging flames appeared in her hand. It was the Burning Sky sect's powerful secret treasure, the 6 flames flowing light flag. Because the Fortune mainland rarely traded with the Heaven Wasteland world, the quality of divine weapons was generally not high. Even a prominent saint stage expert of the 6 supreme sects could be considered rich if he possessed a 7th grade divine weapon. However, while they were lacking in divine weapons, they had all kinds of strange secret treasures. Some of these secret treasures were more terrifying than high-grade divine weapons. Be careful, my Nanming primordial fire is no joke. Ling Shi shouted. In the next moment, a phantom of a Baifeng appeared behind her. When the Baifeng appeared, it spread its wings and an endless blazing power swept out, forming a huge flame vortex that burned the void. A saint-grade battle physique, the Burning Sky sect has a successor. Spiritual Master Zi Hao praised from the bottom of his heart as he looked at the battle constitution that Ling Shi had manifested. There was a trace of a smile on Rockhart's face. This girl has put in a lot of effort to condense a saint-grade battle physique. Now, she has finally gotten what she wanted. Our Burning Sky sect support for her all these years has not been in vain. Spiritual Master Ziheo nodded, but his gaze shifted to Tsing Hui. And Tsing Hui. He did not disappoint Spiritual Master Ziheo. Caw. Accompanied by a long cry, the Golden Crow sacred body suddenly appeared behind Tsing Hui. A huge golden crow with a diameter of nearly 100 meters spread its wings and soared in the sky. Endless light and heat radiated from its body, almost blinding everyone. The moment the Golden Crow's sacred body appeared, the dense fire origin energy that was originally hovering above the Baifeng sacred body quickly gathered toward the Golden Crow combat physique as if it was meeting its king, causing the power of the Golden Crow combat physique to increase by another level. Good, good, good. A divine grade battle physique, as expected of a divine grade Golden Crow combat physique. Amazing, Dong Yang is amazing. He can reach this level with just a chaos inheritance. He is a true peerless genius that only appears once in 1,000 years. Spiritual Master Zihao could not help but be pleasantly surprised when he saw the Golden Crow combat physique that was emitting endless light like the sun rising from the east. The Golden Crow combat physique, is this the Golden Crow combat physique? What a terrifying power! The Fire Crow bloodline that I cultivate is actually trembling in front of the Golden Crow combat physique. I can't even use 60% of my power. It is truly worthy of being called the Emperor of Fire, the Divine Beast of Fire. Ling Shi's Baifeng sacred body is completely suppressed by Elder Dong Yang's Golden Crow sacred body. When a fire-attributed saint-grade beast encounters a fire-attributed divine beast, it has already lost half of the battle. We can only pin our hopes on the six-flame black light flag. The flag contains a trace of Nanming primordial fire. Only with this trace of Nanming primordial fire can Ling Shi have a chance to turn the tables. Several prominent divine stage experts of the Burning Sky sect were also shocked. They were slightly pessimistic about the result of Ling Shi's battle. Ling Shi clearly understood that her Baifeng sacred body was suppressed by Tsing Hui's Golden Crow sacred body. Fortunately, although a divine beast could suppress a saint-grade beast, this suppression was not strong enough to make people lose the hope of challenging it. As Ling Shi shook the six-flame black light flag in her hand, a blazing flame power was injected into the Baifeng sacred body. Suddenly, the Baifeng's shadow, which had weakened a little, suddenly soared. An even more terrifying and blazing aura swept out from its body. I will let the elders of the Purple Cloud Palace understand who is the real heaven's favored daughter of the Burning Sky sect. Fire of Disaster. As Ling Shi waved the flag in her hand, the Baifeng sacred body roared and exploded into blazing flames that spanned thousands of meters. Each flame was a miniature version of the Baifeng. The thousands of miniature Baifengs were like a dense meteor shower, crazily bombarding Tsing Hui. The terrifying and mighty heat swept through the world, almost burning the void. What a treasure! Tsing Hui glanced at the six-flame black light flag in Ling Shi's hand. It was impossible for the Baifeng's sacred body to have such power. However, with the help of the six-flame black light flag, the divine-grade combat body could erupt with power that was not inferior to a divine-grade combat body, but, that was all. With a thought from Qing Su, the colossal figure of the Golden Crow had already rushed into the air in the next moment. Like a meteor shooting through space, it slammed into the meteor shower of countless miniature Baifengs viciously. Its colossal body and sharp claws grabbed several dozen miniature Baifengs viciously before smashing them together. In the moment the several dozen miniature Baifengs collided, the Golden Crow used a method that was almost eternal and resplendent, directly detonating the power within the miniature Baifengs through a fission reaction. Boom! Violent and continuous explosions resounded through the void in an instant. Countless small Baifengs were detonated at the same time. The explosions connected together and formed an even more terrifying chain of explosions. For a moment, dazzling flames kept rising. It was as if countless scorching suns had suddenly appeared in the void. All the colors in the world paled in comparison to this radiance. Chapter 309. The energy contained in the small Baifengs was collided and detonated by Tsing Hui. Blazing flames filled the void, turning the area dozens of kilometers above heaven-abandoned valley into a purgatory of destruction. While constantly destroying these small Baifengs, Tsing Hui's realm, which was only half a step away from the Sword of the Glorious Sun, was also constantly loosening in the process of fission. Countless inspirations began to surge into his mind. The Sword of the Glory of the Sun simulates the eruption of the sun, and uses a part of the power to strike out 3 times, 4 times, even 9 times, or 10 times. Because the power contained in this strike is too terrifying, even Sword Master Bai Heng, who created the Sword of the Glory of the Sun, could not make this power precise to every detail. He could only blast it out. In this way, the power is great, but after this strike, it will completely exhaust one's real qi. Tsing Hui freely shuttled back and forth under the bombardment of countless small Baifengs. Originally, he had enough power to tear apart the meteor-like attacks formed by countless small bifangs. As he tore apart this circle of attacks, he could even use the Golden Crow battle form to directly attack Ling Shi and use the true sun fire to burn her Bifang sacred body to ashes in an instant, and further injure Ling Shi. However, in the process of continuously detonating these small bifangs, he faintly touched the opportunity to achieve the Sword of the Glorious Sun. He threw the thought of winning the battle to the back of his mind, and constantly comprehended the Sword of the Glorious Sun, which was only one step away from achieving the Sword of the Glorious Sun. Even so, the sight of Qing Su's Golden Crow battle form rampaging through the countless miniature bifangs created from the Bifang battle form still shocked everyone from the Burning Sky sect and Purple Cloud Palace from the bottom of their hearts. Is this the terror of the Golden Crow battle form? After being strengthened by the six-flame black light flag, the Bifang sacred body is not much inferior to an ordinary divine-grade battle form, but it can't do anything to Master Dong Yang's Golden Crow battle form. The Bifang sacred body is obviously on the verge of defeat and is suppressed to the point that it has no chance to breathe. No matter how many small bifangs it creates, it can't escape the fate of being caught and destroyed by the Golden Crow battle form. It would be fine if the Golden Crow battle form simply caught those small bifangs and destroyed them. I don't know what means Elder Dong Yang used, but when those small bifangs collided with each other, they caused an explosion that far exceeded the limit of their strength. It also caused a large-scale explosion, so a large area would explode. Without this means, Ling Shi might be able to entangle the Golden Crow battle form with the power of the six-flame black light flag, and exhaust all the power of the Golden Crow battle form. She might even be able to win in the end, but now. It's not that Ling Shi's Bifang sacred body is too weak. With the combat strength that Ling Shi has shown this time, she might have a chance to compete for the qualification to comprehend the Fortune Jade if she participates in the Creation Grand Gathering. However, compared to Elder Dong Yang, she is still inferior. Elder Dong Yang's Golden Crow battle form is too strong. The explosive power formed by constantly destroying the small bifangs frightened even me, a saint cultivator. If I were to be caught in the center of that explosive power without using the fire-repelling pearl, I would be seriously injured even if I didn't die. Spiritual Master Zihao, Elder Chinshua, and the other two True Element Realm ancestors of the Burning Sky sect were all amazed. At the same time, they felt that each new generation was surpassing the previous one. There was not much difference between the prominent divine stage and the True Element Realm. In the True Element Realm, genuine Qi could be transformed into true essence at best, which could support the battle form for a longer time. If the consumption of genuine Qi was ignored, the prominent divine stage and the True Element Realm could even be regarded as the same stage. In this case, Tsing Hui and Ling Shi, one with a divine-grade battle form and the other with a saint-grade battle form, had a strong impact on them. Sun Glory! Sun Glory! Sun Glory! All kinds of ideas flashed in Tsing Hui's mind as he tried to understand the real mystery of the Sword of the Sun Glory. The Sword of the Sun Glory was a terrifying attack produced by the continuous fission of energy. As long as he could understand the mystery of fission, the Sword of the Sun Glory would definitely be able to break through to the advanced level. Wait a minute. Fission. Just as Tsing Hui faintly felt that his genuine Qi was being consumed rapidly and that his Golden Crow battle form was about to be unable to maintain, a light suddenly flashed in his mind. Fission. The Sword of the Sun Glory was created by simulating the fission of the sun. If he could master fission and understand the mystery of fission, his Sword of the Sun Glory would be able to reach the advanced level. However, the real explosion of the sun was not fission, but fusion. Compared to fission, fusion produced a greater effect and power, which could be seen from the power of atomic bombs and hydrogen bombs on Earth. Fission created an atomic bomb, while fusion created a hydrogen bomb that could be said to be a world-destroying weapon. In particular, there was controllable nuclear fusion above fusion. If the power of controllable nuclear fusion could be perfectly utilized, the fusion power would constantly generate a chain reaction that would never end. The power that could be unleashed in the end would be many times stronger than a fission attack. Mastering controllable nuclear fusion was equivalent to mastering the power of the artificial sun. If Tsing Hui could understand the mystery of it, he might be able to transform into the real Golden Crow, which would allow him to dominate the divine stage. Wrong, wrong. Sword Master Bai Heng was wrong. Sword Master Bai Heng's Sword of the Glorious Sun is dedicated to simulating the explosion of the sun to form a world-destroying blow, thus creating this kind of Sword of the Glorious Sun through fission. However, the real sun is formed by a continuous fusion reaction. Sword Master Bai Heng simulates the fusion of the sun in the form of energy fission. No wonder no matter how she perfected the Sword of the Glorious Sun, this Sword of the Glorious Sun can only be regarded as a secret technique, which only has the power of one blow, and cannot be called a systematic cultivation method. Fission, fusion, controllable fusion. That's the path I need to take next. That's the direction of cultivation in the Saint Realm. If I even get the direction wrong, then how can I cultivate an invincible cultivation technique? How can I create a sword technique that's capable of destroying the world? Tsing Hui let out a long cry, and the Golden Crow shadow immediately let out a loud cry. Countless small baifangs exploded before they could even get close to its body. With a boom, waves of flames rose continuously in the void like mushroom clouds, tearing all the clouds within a radius of dozens of kilometers into pieces. Fission. Disregarding the fission that simulated the elements of the sun. At this moment, countless memories that had been sealed for a long time emerged in Tsing Hui's mind. The information about fission that he had learned from textbooks, the internet, the news, and military books on Earth crazily gathered in his mind. Furthermore, under the high level of comprehension of the fifth step, it merged with his understanding of the Golden Crow battle body and the Golden Crow Jin Qi. When an atomic nucleus with a large mass splits into two atomic nuclei with a small mass, an enormous amount of energy will be released during this process. This was fission. It was simple and clear at a glance. In the next moment, countless pieces of information gathered and summarized, colliding into an earth-shattering spark of inspiration. This spark of inspiration was like a real atomic bomb exploding in Tsing Hui's mind. In the center of his mind, a mushroom cloud rose up like a pillar supporting the sky. A circular wave of air tore through the clouds and swept across the area. Intense vibrations, light, and heat filled the entire mind. Brilliant sun. Following Tsing Hui's involuntary attack, the void that was originally filled with a chain of explosions suddenly surged with an unprecedented berserk power. This power was so strong that it directly broke the limits of the Saint Realm's understanding of the power of a prominent Saint Realm expert. In an instant, the void within a radius of tens of kilometers was completely submerged. Endless light and heat erupted at the same time. Not good. This is, careful. The various Saint Realm elders who were originally watching the battle from the side and were shocked by the power between Tsing Hui and Ling Shi sensed the terrifying power that erupted from Tsing Hui's hand. They were immediately shocked and revealed their saint physique, charging towards Ling Shi as fast as they could. Flame fan. Fire warding bead. Open for me. All kinds of strange treasures appeared in the hands of the various true energy boundary elders, trying in vain to resist the explosive power or divert it into the void. However, true energy boundary elders did not have any advantage in front of prominent Saint Realm experts. It was just that their Jin Qi was more vigorous and their strength was longer. In front of Tsing Hui's brilliant sun sword that had just reached the great success stage, they were simply unable to resist it. The flame fan only managed to divert the blazing destructive power for a moment before the surging heat sent them flying. The elder with the fire-warding bead shuttled back and forth in the flames for a moment before he was immediately sent flying by the shock wave. As for the remaining two true energy boundary elders, they were not much better off. However, the efforts of the 4 true energy boundary powerhouses were not in vain. They had finally managed to bring Ling Shi out of the area of destruction before the destructive force could completely engulf her, allowing her to escape with the fastest speed possible, allowing her to escape with her life. Rumble. The energy ripples formed by the explosive power spread out in all directions. The heaven-abandoned valley, which was filled with flames and lava, was completely destroyed. An even more violent eruption of lava seemed to have caused the earth veins to become chaotic. Rumbling earthquake spread out with the heaven-abandoned valley as the center, affecting the entire burning heaven sect. In an instant, countless porcelain and glass products in the burning heaven sect were destroyed. This kind of power is too terrifying. A transcendent realm expert's control over their own power has reached the pinnacle. They can condense their own power into one and pour it out in torrents. The power of this attack is probably not much inferior to a transcendent realm expert's all-out attack, right? Is the power of a divine-grade battle physique really so powerful? If I was in the center of that explosive power, even with the fire-warding bead, my chances of survival would be less than 1 in 10. Is this still the prominent Saint Realm? The true energy boundary elders were dumbfounded as they looked at the destructive power of Tsing Hui's attack. They were unable to recover for a long time. As for Ling Shi, who had the courage to challenge Tsing Hui, she was so frightened by the destructive power of this attack that her pretty face turned pale. She looked at Tsing Hui as if she was looking at a demon. Her eyes were filled with fear as her hands and feet trembled incessantly. A genius with a boundless future, she was scared out of her wits. Chapter 310. Sun Glory. Tsing Hui's eyes flickered. Then, he saw the mess in heaven-abandoned valley. Even though he had seen the mess caused by a nuclear explosion in movies, he still could not help but change his expression. Ling Shi is not dead, is she? Qing Su raised his head and looked over. When he saw Ling Shi looking at him with a frightened expression from over 10 kilometers away, he breathed a sigh of relief. It was good that he didn't die. If he died, he really didn't know how to face the people of the Burning Sky sect. After all, the Burning Sky sect's sect master and elders were quite good to him. However, because he didn't restrain his strength during a spar, he killed the young sect master whom they had high hopes for. That would be embarrassing. Whoosh! With a leap, Qing Su arrived beside Rockhart, Chen Shua, Reverend Zihao, and so on very soon. I'm sorry. I had just comprehended the innate ability of the Golden Crow battle body, so I used it involuntarily. As a result, I failed to control my strength properly, which almost led to a disaster. Thank goodness you elders acted in time. It's all right. If you want to blame someone, you can only blame Lingxi for overestimating herself. How dare she challenge the authority of Elder Dongyang? Today's incident will teach her a lesson and let her understand that there is always someone better out there. Rockhart naturally did not dare to accuse Qing Su of anything in front of Reverend Zihao. Moreover, it was just as she had said. Ling Shi had brought this upon herself. If she had not gone to provoke Dongyang, she would not have almost died. Elder Dong Yang's Golden Crow combat body is so powerful that it is an eye-opener for us. No wonder a divine-grade combat body only appears once in 1,000 years. If such powerful strength can be cultivated so easily, how can we, true energy realm cultivators, endure? Based on the strength that Elder Dong Yang displayed in the battle just now, one of the spots to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade at the Fortune Grand Banquet is likely to be yours. Let's just wait for Elder Dong Yang to represent the Burning Sky sect and display his might at the Fortune Grand Banquet. Spiritual Master Zihao said with a smile. I will do my best and will not disappoint the sect master, the palace master, and the elders of the Purple Cloud Palace. We look forward to seeing your performance. Reverend Zihao smiled. Dong Yang, the good fortune pageant is about to begin. You should rest for a day or two. When the time comes, we will set off for the Great Sun Divine Palace. Because you are representing the Burning Sky sect, it is inappropriate for me and the Palace Lord to travel with you. When the time comes, you can go with Sect Master Heartcliff. If there is anything, just send Wang Ke to find me. I understand. Alright, alright, alright. Then, we'll catch up after the grand creation banquet is over. Xing Hui nodded slightly. Who knew what would happen after the fortune pageant ended? Sect Master Heartcliff, I'll leave Elder Dongyang in your care. I hope you can keep him in good condition during the Fortune Fest. Don't let anything happen to him. Reverend Zihao turned to Rockheart and instructed him in a serious tone. Don't worry, Daoist. The fortune banquet this time isn't just crucial to the Purple Cloud Palace. It's also a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for our Burning Heaven sect. If our Burning Heaven sect can make an appearance at the fortune banquet this time and obtain one of the 10 right to comprehend the fortune jade, it'll be much easier for our Burning Heaven sect to recruit Sons of Chaos in the future. Just based on that, we'll definitely ensure Elder Dongyang's safety. Before Heartcliff could speak, Chen Shua, the Burning Sky sect's ancestor, had already made a solemn vow. Alright, I naturally trust the Burning Sky sect. After Reverend Zihao finished his words, he did not stay any longer and immediately turned to leave. Heartcliff and the others brought Xing Hui back to the Burning Sky sect. After resting for a day, the Burning Sky sect piloted a warship and headed straight for the Great Sun Divine Palace. In order to ensure Xing Hui's safety, 2 of the Burning Sky sect's 3 true energy boundary ancestors moved out at the same time. Apart from leaving one person to guard the sect as a precaution, it could be said that they had turned out in full force. As for the prominent divine stage Great Elders, they had also sent most of them. Apart from the true energy boundary ancestors and the Great Elders, Ling Shi was also in the group. In Heartcliff's words, they were bringing her to the fortune gathering to broaden her horizons. Ling Shi was only 81 years old this year. If the next fortune gathering was to be held within 19 years, she might have the opportunity to participate again. In this way, the experience of this fortune gathering would be extremely important. The warship broke through the clouds as it slowly advanced towards the Great Sun Divine Palace. Because the Fortune Grand Banquet was one of the biggest banquets on the Fortune mainland, when the Burning Sky sect's battleships neared the Great Sun Divine Palace, the surrounding atmosphere became livelier. When the Burning Sky sect's battleships arrived at the Great Sun Divine Palace, they saw large battleships shuttling to and fro around the Great Sun Divine Palace's skyscrapers, entering the Great Sun Divine Palace's interior. Even though the Fortune mainland style belonged to fantasy, the scene in front of them gave Qing Su a strong feeling of science fiction. The Great Sun Divine Palace was like a bustling starry port. Countless warships from all over the universe were shuttling back and forth, carrying out daily necessities. Unlike the Purple Firmament Palace, the forces that the Great Sun Divine Palace left behind in the Central Plains aren't weak. It's said that they have a third-layer Saint Realm expert with endless true energy personally overseeing the situation. Moreover, as the Great Sun Divine Palace is the host of the Grand Assembly of Good Fortune this time around, the headquarters of the Great Sun Divine Palace has sent many experts. According to preliminary estimates, there are probably several tens of Endless Realm experts, and it's enough to completely surround the Great Sun Divine Palace. Heartcliff looked at the bustling Great Sun Divine Palace in front of him and praised sincerely. Several dozen. When Xing Hui heard the number from Heartcliff's mouth, he couldn't help but be stunned. There are actually so many Endless Realm experts in the Great Sun Divine Palace. If I remember correctly, the Purple Firmament Palace only has 10 to 20 Transformative Realm experts. The Endless Realm is different from the Transformative Realm. The Supreme Sects have the method to refine the Golden Immortal Pill. As long as there is enough True Yuan to maintain the Golden Immortal Pill, it can extend one's lifespan for 3,000 years. However, although True Yuan and Transformative Realm experts have True Yuan in their bodies, they are unable to sustain the consumption of the Golden Immortal Pill. Unless there are many heavenly treasures in their bodies, they can only extend their lifespan by 3,000 years. Otherwise, when they reach the age of 4 or 500, they will be unable to avoid the fate of dying. However, Endless Realm experts are different. The true yuan in their bodies has already reached the point where it can circulate endlessly. As long as they engage in an intense battle and expend a large amount of true yuan, they can maintain the existence of the golden immortal pill, extending their lifespan to 3,000 years. After listening to Heartcliff's introduction, Tsing-Hui felt as if his horizons had been broadened. The Fortune Mainland's fake golden immortal pill technique might not be comparable to the golden immortal pill, but as long as there were enough heavenly treasures, it could actually allow true yuan, transformative realm, and endless realm experts to break through the limits of their lifespan. True yuan, transformative realm, and endless realm experts who could only live for 4 to 500 years could live for 2 to 3,000 years. The value of such a secret technique was not necessarily inferior to that of some first-class divine scriptures. After all, to the descendants of those almighty existences, top-tier natural treasures that could replenish their origin energy were nothing. In fact, as long as the high-grade sons of chaos raised their recovery ability to the 6th or 7th order, their origin energy might not necessarily be unable to replenish their origin energy without end. As the battleship sailed into the Great Sun Divine Palace, Tsing-Hui finally understood the true foundation of the Fortune Mainland. Even though the Fortune Mainland was many times more remote than the Eastern Wasteland, and the Heaven-Earth Yuan Qi on the mainland was less than half of the Eastern Wasteland, the Fortune Mainland had relied on the numerous immortal techniques comprehended from the Fortune Divine Jade to develop to the level of a peak mid-sized mainland. This was because the Fortune Divine Jade had only appeared for a few thousand years. If it continued to develop, in another few thousand years, or even 10,000 years, the Fortune Mainland had the hope of developing into a large mainland with more than 10 supreme existences overseeing it. At that time, no matter how remote the Fortune Mainland was and how few sons of chaos there were, it would still attract the attention of many supreme existences in the Heaven Wasteland world. Fortunately, all the Tao treasures produced in the Fortune Mainland have been squandered on the Fortune Divine Jade. Otherwise, even though the Fortune Mainland and Heaven Wasteland world are so far apart, the number and power of the sons of chaos wouldn't have remained so low. Moreover, the more the sons of chaos increase, the more active they become in the Chaos Divine Palace. Naturally, the secrets of the Fortune Mainland would be easily leaked. If a supreme existence became curious and directly teleported to the Fortune Mainland, the people of the Fortune Mainland might not be able to keep the Fortune Divine Jade. Tsing-Hui secretly rejoiced in his heart. Under the lead of a prominent sage realm expert of the Great Sun Divine Palace, the Burning Sky sect's people were arranged to stay in a small courtyard. Even though the Burning Sky sect was a first-rate sect, because it was completely supported by the Purple Firmament Palace, it was an existence at the bottom of the first-rate sections. This could be seen from the fact that they only had 3 true element boundary experts in their sect. Therefore, the Great Sun Divine Palace naturally only made arrangements for them. This scene made Sect Master Rockheart feel extremely embarrassed. As for Tsing-Hui, he didn't have any thoughts about it. He would leave after snatching the Fortune Divine Jade. In order to prevent people from discovering his identity in the Chaos Divine Palace, he was more than willing to keep a low profile. Elder Dong Yang, this is the information that the Palace Master asked me to send to you. Early the next morning, Wang Ke, Rockheart, and the others appeared in Tsing-Hui's courtyard and handed him a set of detailed information. This is the information that the Palace Master gathered from the Purple Firmament Palace's intelligence network. Among the 100 competitors, 8 of them are true element boundary experts. 8, huh? Tsing-Hui nodded slightly when he heard this. He didn't take it too seriously. Among the 8 true element boundary experts, 6 of them represent the 6 supreme saint sects. There's no doubt that the 6 of them will occupy the top 6 positions. Elder Dong Yang, you have to pay attention to the remaining 2 true element boundary experts. One of the 2 true element boundary experts relied on natural treasures to reach the initial true element boundary, so he's less of a threat. As for the other one, before Wang Ke finished his introduction, Xing Hui seemed to have thought of something and suddenly asked, "By the way, the Fortune Divine Jade's activated state will last for 3 months. What's the order of comprehension during these 3 months? Do we start from the first place or the 10th place?" "Naturally, we start from the first place. The first place will comprehend for a month, the second place will comprehend for half a month, the third place will comprehend for 10 days, and the remaining 4 to 10 will comprehend for 5 days according to their ranking. That's a total of 3 months. Wang Ke said. Wang Ke's words made Xing Hui's heart skip a beat. The Fortune Divine Jade required 1,000 Taoist rhymes to activate. If he won the first place and was the first to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade, and absorbed all the Taoist rhymes the moment he obtained it, would he be able to obtain more than 900 Taoist rhymes in one go? If this method worked, that would be a total of 9 chaotic grades. When he thought of this, Xing Hui, who had only planned to go through the motions and get into the top 10 to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade, began to feel restless. Chapter 311. Get first place. Get first place, be the first to come into contact with the Fortune Jade, then leave with the Fortune Jade. Xing Hui made up his mind. Elder Dong Yang, this is the information we collected about the cultivators who are a threat to those 4 positions. There are a total of 23 people. These 23 people may be a threat to you and compete with you for the 7th and 10th place to comprehend the Fortune Jade. Wang Ke said as he passed the detailed information to Xing Hui. Xing Hui received the information and flipped through it one by one. Soon, Xing Hui noticed something, and his brows furrowed slightly. These people's cultivation was the same as his, in the prominent sage realm, but not all of them were at the peak of the prominent sage realm. On the contrary, the majority of them were in the mid and early prominent sage realm, and the reason why they were included in the list was because of the immortal arts and secret treasures they possessed. It could be said that by relying on these immortal arts and secret treasures, their battle strength could only be considered below average, but they had actually become a hot existence in the competition for the top 10 spots. Moreover, after looking at the information for a while, Xing Hui quickly realized a problem. Why is there no indication of their chaos realm in the information? One must know that a high-level son of chaos's divine arts can often turn the tide of a battle at a critical moment. High-level son of chaos. Wang Ke was slightly taken aback, and Rockhart and the others beside him also looked at each other. After a while, Rockhart explained, although raising one's chaos realm can increase one's strength, instead of using the time to raise one's chaos realm, it's better to fight for the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Jade, or exchange one's Tao treasure for the right to cultivate 1 or 2 supreme immortal arts. Some immortal arts, if mastered well, are much more useful than raising one's chaos realm. Therefore, other than those who have comprehended enough supreme immortal arts or sons of chaos who are not qualified to participate in the fortune banquet, most people wouldn't use their Tao treasure to raise their chaos realm. Xing Hui was astonished by Rockhart's explanation. In the eyes of the Fortune Mainland's people, the immortal arts comprehended from the Fortune Jade were actually more useful than the chaos realm. But a moment later, Xing Hui thought of the supreme immortal technique he had just comprehended, Magic Arsenal. At the minor completion stage of the Magic Arsenal casting technique, he would be able to transform the spirituality of 16th order spiritual objects. If he could reach the major completion stage, he would even be able to transform the spirituality of 9th order spiritual objects as long as he had enough true qi. Based on the average cultivation level of the Fortune continent, the major completion stage of the Magic Arsenal casting technique seemed to be more useful than the Sons of Chaos who were only in the 20s. After all, the Chaos level could grant one many special abilities, but there were not many abilities that could significantly increase one's strength. Especially the Incarnation technique and Transmission technique, they were practically useless to the people of Fortune Mainland. When the Avatar technique descended on Heaven Wasteland, the consequence of their weakened state was enough to make them wish they were dead. As for the prerequisite of the teleportation technique, it was necessary to teleport to a place that they had been to before. If they wanted to go to Heaven Wasteland World, they had to first ascend to Heaven Wasteland World using the Avatar technique. This made the teleportation technique almost an unsolvable knot. Under such circumstances, the Fortune Mainland's people were naturally not very enthusiastic about the Chaos Realm. According to Wang Ke, there were less than 10 high-level Sons of Chaos in the entire Fortune Mainland. Moreover, these 10 people were basically the experts of the older generation. It was almost impossible to see high-level Sons of Chaos appearing in the Fortune Mainland's Grand Assembly. It seems that the divine art may be able to turn the tables for me at a critical moment. Unfortunately, the duration of the divine art is too short. Otherwise, it wouldn't be as simple as just one round. Tsing Hui was faintly regretful. Under Wang Ke's introduction, Qing Su gained a clear understanding of the various immortal arts and arcane treasures these 23 powerful competitors possessed very soon. It had to be said that the battle strength of cultivators in this world with and without magic artifacts was completely incomparable. Take Ling Shi for example. Before she used the Six Flames Profound Flag, Tsing Hui could completely crush her with the Golden Crow battle physique. However, after using the Six Flames Profound Flag, she was able to exchange blows with Tsing Hui. If Tsing Hui had not comprehended the Sword of the Glorious Sun during the battle and summoned that earth-shattering sword move, he might not have been able to defeat her so easily. Elder Dong Yang, among these 23 people, the ones you really need to be careful of are these 3 people, Ling Huyu, Hong Bai, and Cheng Yi. These 3 people all possess fire-resistant magic artifacts, especially Cheng Yi. The profound fire control flag in his hand is a top fire-controlling magic artifact. When you fight with him, you'd better not give him time to summon his magic artifact. Use your fastest speed to defeat him in one fell swoop. I understand. Tsing Hui nodded. Of course, in this competition, in fact, in addition to strength, luck is also very important. After the first round of competition, 50 people will be selected. In the second round, 25 people will be left. In the third round, one person will be lucky enough to advance directly. At that time, there will only be 13 people left. One of these 13 people will be lucky enough to advance directly and enter the top 10 with the 6 winners. The defeated cultivators will compete again to compete for the top 10 places. When the top 10 places are determined, the ranking challenge will begin. The cultivators can occupy a ranking according to their strength and accept the challenges of others. The first place has to face 9 challenges or defeat 9 other people, the second place has to defeat 8 others, and so on. Wang Ke said with a smile, in fact, it's mainly a competition for the top 3 places. The rewards for the last 7 places are similar. Everyone can basically guarantee peace. It's just a competition for reputation. Won't the first place fall into a tag team battle? Of course, since you want to occupy the first place, you naturally have to pay the price. However, for the sake of fairness, the first place can apply for a day's rest after each battle. Tsing Hui listened and nodded thoughtfully. It seemed that the first place was not so easy to obtain. The cultivators of the 6 supreme sects are all considered seeded contestants. They won't encounter each other before the top 10. This is the privilege of the 6 supreme sects, but the others don't have this convenience. If you are unlucky enough to encounter the seeded contestants of the 6 supreme sects in the first round, then you can only pin your hopes on standing out in the losers group and competing for the remaining 3 places. You will encounter such a probability, and you will also encounter Ling Huyu, Hong Bai, and Cheng Yi who are more of a threat to you. This is also why I said that luck is also very important. If you are lucky, you can completely avoid Ling Huyu, Hong Bai, and Cheng Yi. If you are extremely lucky and get a bye in the 3rd and 4th round, then your chances are equivalent to entering the top 10. When Wang Ke said this, a smile appeared on his face. According to the ancestors of the 6 supreme sects, luck and opportunity are also a kind of strength. If the founding ancestor of the Purple Cloud Palace didn't obtain the Fortune Jade by chance, how could he have created a supreme sect like the Purple Cloud Palace out of nothing? If the Great Sun Divine Palace didn't comprehend the supreme immortal technique, 10 heaven-burning suns, from the Fortune Sacred Jade, how could they push the Great Sun Divine Palace, which was originally a first-rate sect, into the ranks of the 6 supreme sects? Since there is such a high probability of encountering the seeded contestants of the 6 supreme sects, why don't Deacon Wang Ke tell me about the strength and characteristics of the seeded contestants of the 6 supreme sects? This is fine. Wang Ke hesitated for a moment, but still said, the foundation of the 6 supreme sects far surpasses that of the first-rate sections. Therefore, the seeded contestants of these forces have not only cultivated to the realm of true essence, but also mastered immortal techniques and secret treasures that the first-rate sects can't compare to. Among the 6 supreme sects, the most promising contestants are Lu Taihua of the Great Sun Divine Palace, Dao Wuya of the Three Pristine sect, and Nantian Do of the Taisher sect. The magic treasure of these 3 people is a flame sword, which has the power to divide and control fire. As for the immortal technique, it is naturally 10 heaven-burning suns. With this immortal technique, he can create 10 great suns, and with the enhancement of the flame sword, its power is strong enough to make a transcendent expert look askance. Dao Wuya's magic treasure is a 3-treasure scepter, which seems to have the ability to attack from a distance. In addition, the supreme immortal technique he cultivates is called Yi Qi San Qin, which can be divided into 3, and its battle strength is shocking. As for Nantian Do, his magic treasure is the Star Pearl, which contains the power of a star and is extremely heavy. Ordinary mountains and rivers would be turned into dust if smashed by his Star Pearl. Are there no outstanding disciples in our Purple Cloud Palace this year? Well, it's not that we don't have any. It's just that they're not as outstanding as the Sanqing sect, Taisher sect, or Great Sun Divine Palace. Wang Ke replied awkwardly. Tsing Hui could tell that Wang Ke was just trying not to undermine his own sect's prestige. Tsing Hui then carefully studied the information of the seed disciples of the Purple Cloud Palace and the other 2 supreme sections. He quickly understood the strengths and weaknesses of these 6 people. If it was purely a competition of strength, he might be able to take first place with the power of the Golden Crow battle form and the Sword of the Glorious Sun. However, each of these people had supreme immortal skills and many secret treasures. This made Tsing Hui very cautious. Sacrificial fire of the road, heaven-burning 10 suns, boundless Tao, 3 pure ones in one breath, shifting stars of the southern sky dipper. Tsing Hui carefully looked through the information of the 3 cultivators who posed the greatest threat to him. A plan to deal with them gradually formed in his mind. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. After 3 days, the Fortune Grand Banquet finally arrived. The Burning Sky sect was led by Yen Xian and they directly arrived at the venue of the Fortune Grand Banquet. This was a large venue made up of more than 20 mountain peaks. Every mountain peak was packed with cultivators. At first glance, there were no less than 10,000 people. The total number of cultivators on the 20 mountain peaks was more than 200,000. The 20 mountain peaks were either near or far, high or low. They filled the area of 10 kilometers. In the center of these mountain peaks, there was a huge mountain peak that was more than 1,000 meters in diameter. It was used as a competition platform. The platform was reinforced by a formation and became extremely hard. Even if a divine Qi uniting realm expert wielding a grade 4 divine weapon, he wouldn't be able to leave a mark on the platform. Soon, all of the Fortune Mainland's geniuses would gather on this stage, under the witness of the 6 supreme sects, as well as numerous first and second-rate sections. The top 10 most outstanding young masters would be sent to comprehend the Fortune Jade, enjoying endless glory in glory. Chapter 312. They're finally here. Qing Su stood on one of the mountains and gazed at the surroundings from the top. A gleam of light flashed through his eyes. He had been on the Fortune Mainland for a whole year. In this 1 year, his transmission technique had cooled down, and he could return to the Eastern Wasteland at any time. It was because of this piece of fortune jade that he had been delayed until now. Fortunately, it was finally time to put the fortune divine jade into his bag. Elder Dong Yang, don't feel pressured during the competition later. Given your strength, as long as you perform normally and are lucky enough to meet the seeded contestants of the 6 supreme sects, the probability of you making it into the top 10 is more than 90%. Moreover, even if you unfortunately meet the seeded contestants of the 6 supreme sects and lose, it doesn't matter. The losers will still be able to determine 3 places in the losers group and occupy the 8th, 9th, and 10th places. By then, they will be able to comprehend the fortune jade. Wang Ke encouraged Xing Hui from the side. Xing Hui nodded, don't worry, I know what I'm doing. I won't disappoint the Purple Firmament Palace's elders. Good, you should adjust your condition. The Fortune Mainland Grand Assembly is about to begin. When those people go up on stage, I'll introduce them to you one by one. Wang Ke said and did not say anything else. Qing Su didn't say anything either. Instead, he looked at the surroundings. Compared to the situation in the Eastern Wasteland where the 9 great sects had formed an alliance to resist the Creation Mystical Sect, the situation in the Fortune Mainland was basically peaceful. Even if there were conflicts between the 6 great supreme sects, they were basically carried out in the dark. The war on the surface could be traced back to 3,000 years ago. Therefore, many great sects and first-rate sects were able to safely hold such a grand event that swept across the entire mainland. If this happened in the Eastern Wasteland, the 10 great sects would have already started a war. Even if they didn't, such a grand assembly would have developed into some kind of shocking conspiracy. In the end, a war would still be inevitable. The Fortune Mainland has been in a state of rapid development for a long time. The number and scale of cultivators here is really not something the Eastern Wasteland can compare to. Xing Hui looked at the cultivators around him and sighed with emotion. Amongst the over 200,000 cultivators present here, there were absolutely over 1,000 at the Saint Realm, and the remaining were basically at the Spirit Energy Unification Realm, Green Hell Realm, and Vision Saint Realm. Although the Fortune Mainland did not have an almighty master overseeing it, the number of Saint Realm experts it had was not inferior to those mainlands that had an almighty master overseeing them. At the very least, their development had reached the pinnacle of the mid-sized mainlands. Among the thousands of islands in the world, it was unlikely that there would be any Saint Realm experts from a mid-sized mainland that could reach the level of the Fortune Mainland. The people from the 6 supreme sects are here. Just as Xing Hui was sizing up the cultivators around him, Wang Ke suddenly reminded him. Then, the 6 battleships broke through the wind and waves, sweeping up clouds and clouds, heading straight for the 6 highest mountains among the 20 or so mountains. These battleships docked securely, and several figures jumped out from these battleships. Every one of these figures exuded an extremely powerful aura. Even if they were transcendent realm experts who could control their aura at will, they did not hold back at all as they released their aura, intimidating the surroundings. Qing Su sensed them one by one and counted them, transformative realm experts, 24 from the Great Sun Divine Palace, 20 from the Purple Cloud Palace, 22 from the 3 Purities Sect, 23 from the Grand Beginning Sect, 19 from the Netherworld Sect, 26 from the Heavenly Court actually came. Didn't the Heavenly Court also fail to cultivate any outstanding disciples this time? If it's just a formality, why are there so many transcendent realm experts here? Unable to find an answer, Xing Hui could only hide this trace of doubt in his heart. As the 6 Supreme Sects people returned to their seats, the originally lively Fortune Mainland Grand Banquet gradually quieted down. Then, a man exuding a powerful aura stepped onto the central stage. It was the Great Sun Divine Palace's Palace Lord, Xing Ji. Xing Ji stepped onto the stage and gave an opening speech. During this time, Xing Hui asked Wang Ke, how long will the Fortune Mainland Grand Banquet last? This depends on whether there is anyone who can suppress the crowd and sit firmly in the top 3. After all, the top 3 rankings are disputed, but it usually lasts for half a month. As Wang Ke spoke, he seemed to have thought of something and reminded, although there are many sects and forces participating in the Fortune Mainland Grand Banquet, as time passes, when the top 10 are determined, more than 90% of the sects will miss the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Jade. At that time, they will hold a large-scale trade fair in the square outside the Great Sun Divine Palace. Of course, the level of the trade fair will not be too high and is limited to the immortality realm. Occasionally, there will be true energy realm experts and even transcendent realm experts participating. The items that can be traded are limited to the immortality realm, and the items of the green darkness realm and prominent divine realm are the most popular. As for what good items can be bought, it depends on one's luck. Oh, I wonder what currency is used for trading in the trade fair. Is it possible to buy supreme immortal skills? Supreme immortal skills? Wang Ke was shocked. Supreme immortal skills are usually in the hands of many supreme sections. Although almost no one in the 6 supreme sects can fully cultivate the supreme immortal skills, there are still very few of them that have been passed down. At this point, he paused slightly and lowered his voice slightly. If you want to obtain a supreme immortal skill through a formal trade, you can only rely on luck. However, after a few rounds of elimination, before the competition for the top 10 begins, there will be a private trade. In this trade, you may be able to obtain a supreme immortal skill. However, this private trade is only semi-public. It is not easy to obtain the right to enter. If Elder Dong Yang is really interested, you can ask the Palace Lord when the time comes. The Palace Lord may be able to obtain the right to enter. Private trade, Xing Hui nodded when he heard this. He was about to return to the Heaven Wasteland domain, but because he had stayed in the Purple Cloud Palace for too short a time, he had not made any great contributions. He could not cultivate those mysterious immortal skills, which made him itch unbearably. If he could obtain a few good supreme immortal skills through this private trade, then this 1 year in the Fortune Continent would really be worth it. If he was lucky, he could even obtain the incomparably coveted fake pill technique. He was afraid that Tianxiong and the others would be willing to spend a lot of money to trade with him. After all, I have too few secret treasures and supreme immortal skills. When the time comes, I plan to try my luck. Secret treasures. Supreme immortal skills. With Elder Dong Yang's talent in cultivating a divine grade battle physique, once you return to the Purple Cloud Palace after the Fortune Fair and head to the Pillar of Heaven's Mountain, the headquarters of the Purple Cloud Palace, there will be all kinds of secret treasures and supreme immortal skills. If you continue to perform well, won't you be able to get many resources at your disposal? Wang Ke said with a hint of flattery. Xing Hui only smiled when he heard this. It was true that he could receive good treatment at the Pillar of Heaven's Mountain. Any supreme sect would place great importance on cultivators with divine grade battle physiques, but he could not wait for that day to come. While Xing Hui and Wang Ke were talking, the Great Sun Divine Palace's Palace Master Xing Ji had already finished his speech. In the end, he said in a clear voice, "Next, let's invite our Great Sun Divine Palace's supreme divine item, the Fortune Divine Jade, to be displayed to the various sects elders and sect masters." In the past 15 years, our Great Sun Divine Palace has been cautious and conscientious in guarding the Fortune Divine Jade, not daring to slack off in the slightest. Today, whichever sect wins first place will become the new custodian of the Fortune Divine Jade. Now, please verify the authenticity of the Fortune Divine Jade. As Xing Ji spoke, the various first-rate sects did not move, but the 5 supreme sects sent 3 or 4 people forward at the same time. They surrounded the Great Sun Divine Palace's Palace Master Xing Ji, as if they were examining the Fortune Divine Jade. Xing Hui wanted to see the true appearance of the Fortune Divine Jade, but the Burning Sky sect was arranged to be at the back. In addition, there were people blocking him, so he could not see it clearly. He could only turn to Yan Xian and ask, "Didn't the Great Sun Divine Palace's Palace Master Xing Ji invite us to verify the authenticity of the Fortune Divine Jade? Why is my Burning Sky sect not moving?" This, Yan Xian's face showed a trace of embarrassment, not knowing how to answer. It was Wang Ke who said softly, this is just the Great Sun Divine Palace's polite words. The only ones who are qualified to verify the authenticity of the Fortune Divine Jade are the 6 supreme sections. Not allowing people to see the true appearance of the Fortune Divine Jade is also to ensure the safety of the Fortune Divine Jade, in case someone wants to steal it. Hearing this, Tsing Hui could only helplessly restrain his thoughts. However, he could understand the actions of the 6 supreme sacred sections. Ordinary people had never even seen the true Fortune Divine Jade before. Naturally, the probability of the Fortune Divine Jade being stolen and snatched away was reduced to the lowest. It was just that, putting on such a show in front of all the Fortune Mainland's cultivators, it really felt superfluous. That's right, it is indeed the true Fortune Divine Jade. My Purple Firmament Palace guarantees that it is not fake. The Grand Beginning sect confirms. The 3 Purities sect confirms. The 5 supreme sects people circled around the Fortune Divine Jade and sized it up for a while. Then, they announced the authenticity of the Fortune Divine Jade in front of all the Fortune Mainland's cultivators. After the 5 supreme sects people left and returned to their respective peaks, Xing Ji no longer spoke nonsense. The authenticity of the Fortune Divine Jade has been verified. Therefore, I hereby announce that the Fortune Mainland's grand meeting has officially begun. Now, we will arrange the participants for the duels. The 2 participants whose tokens lit up will step onto the stage at the same time to determine the winner and loser. After Xing Ji finished speaking, he leaped up and returned to the Great Sun Divine Palace's mountain peak. Not long after Xing Ji returned to the Great Sun Divine Palace's mountain peak, a muscular man in the prominent sage realm flew up on his sword and hovered in the air above the stage. He said loudly, I, Lang Ping, would actually be the first participant. Wanhua Sect's Lang Ping is here. I wonder which fellow Daoist would like to give me a pointer or two. Swish. Not long after Lang Ping stepped onto the stage, a figure appeared in the void and stood on his sword. 5 Elements Manners Xue Qi is here to experience fellow Daoists' immortal arts. At the same time, 4 Transcendent Realm experts appeared in the 4 corners of the void. One of them said to the 2 participants, on the battle stage, life and death are up to fate. However, the heavens have the virtue of being merciful. Where there is room for error, there is room for mercy. We hope that you can show mercy. Alright, if the 2 of you do not have any objections, I will announce the start of the competition. Please. I can't wait to see all the fellow Taoists' supreme immortal arts. Then, let the competition begin. Chapter 313. Lang Ping and Xue Qi were both in the late stage of the prominent divine realm. Moreover, the 2 of them didn't seem to have placed their hopes on the divine might of the Saint Physique and relied on the Saint Physique to determine victory. Instead, they went straight for the celestial techniques and secret treasures. As soon as the battle began, the first thing the 2 did was not to charge at each other and gain the upper hand. Instead, they both retreated and took out their own secret treasures. Lang Ping's secret treasure rolled up a black wind that covered the sky and the sun. Those who were hit by the black wind felt dizzy. Its power was somewhat similar to Wu Sui's soul-dispersing divine wind, but its effect was obviously weaker. Its interference ability was better than actual combat. On the other hand, Xue Qi took out his Dharma treasure and made an icy rain fall within a few hundred meters. The icy rain was bone-chilling, and those who were hit by it were frozen to the bone. Lang Ping had no choice but to take out his true essence to defend himself. Tsing Hui found it inconceivable to see such a fierce battle. After a while, he said to Wang Ke, why don't Lang Ping and Xue Qi take out their Saint Physique and fight with all their might? Why do they need to use their Dharma treasures and immortal techniques to fight? This kind of battle method might have a miraculous effect if they are caught off guard, but isn't it more enjoyable to fight using their battle physique? Saint Physique. Wang Ke was slightly startled. If they directly take out their Saint Physique, what if they can't win this battle in a short time? Won't they be severely exhausted? How will they deal with the rest of the battle? Aren't there 50 rounds? After 50 rounds, it will take at least half a day. Even if they are exhausted, as long as they don't completely exhaust their true qi, they will be able to recover. Once they take out their saint physique, how much true qi will they have left after the battle? Wang Ke couldn't help but laugh. After hearing Wang Ke's words, Xing Hui remembered that he was overthinking. The reason why the prominent divine stage grand elders didn't use their saint physique so easily was that it was difficult to recover. Xing Hui had the rank 6 recovery ability. Once his true qi was completely exhausted, he would need 2 to 3 days to recover to his peak state. Even if he took out his saint physique and fought for 5 to 6 breaths, he would need half a day to recover completely, let alone those who weren't sons of chaos who had 0 recovery ability. In the field, the battle between the two continued. Lang Ping and Xue Qi exchanged blows back and forth. Their immortal arts and magic treasures displayed their prowess, but in the end, Xue Qi was still slightly superior. After being hit by the bone-piercing icy rain, Lang Ping's movements became more and more sluggish, and his body trembled incessantly. After this battle lasted for almost an hour, Lang Ping suddenly, he admitted defeat. Not bad. It wasn't a battle of life and death, but, he admitted defeat. Looking at Lang Ping, who bowed to Xue Qi and left the platform, Xing Hui turned to Lang Ping in shock. He didn't even try his best, and he admitted defeat just like that. Victory and defeat have been decided. Xue Qi is 1 step ahead. Lang Ping is unwilling to let this go and embarrass himself, so he should admit defeat. Wang Ke looked as if it was only natural. He lost this battle. How will he face the Wanhua sect? Elder Dong Yang, what do you mean? What does losing have to do with facing the Wanhua sect? Wang Ke was slightly taken aback. Then, as if he had thought of something, he hurriedly said, although he lost the battle, he can enter the losers group and continue to fight his way to victory. After all, although the losers group only has 3 spots, at least he won't have to face the 6 supreme sects-seeded contestants. Instead of wasting his vitality by losing to the 6 supreme sects-seeded contestants, he might as well conserve his strength and stand out in the losers group. His method is also a tactic to preserve his vitality. In the past, there were many sects with lower chances of winning the losers group that used this tactic. Xing Hui opened his mouth, but what else could he say? The atmosphere of the Fortune mainland was a little too harmonious. It was indeed worthy of being a peaceful world that had not experienced any war for 3,000 years. People with a strong desire to win like Ling Shi were as rare as phoenix feathers and qilin horns. The battles continued, and the prodigies that represented their respective sects and clans continued to fight on the arena one after another. If these prodigies believed that they were inferior to someone else, they would often admit defeat willingly. Even if their strength was similar, they actually never fought to the death. Qin Su had watched 18 battles along the way, and there were actually only 8 battles where both sides had used the power of the saint's body. Of course, there were also 4 battles where both sides went all out, and in the end, both sides suffered heavy losses. But compared to the total 18 battles, this number was less than a quarter. If such a thing happened in the eastern wilderness, it was almost unimaginable. There would definitely be people who would secretly take action long ago. They would use all kinds of methods to harm their competitors and wear down their opponent's fighting spirit. They would use all kinds of sinister tricks. Compared to the heaven wasteland world, the people of the Fortune mainland were simply modest gentlemen. At this moment, Xing Hui even faintly understood why he could easily gain the trust of the Purple Firmament Palace and Burning Sky sect. His talent was one thing, and the contribution of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique was another. Most importantly, the general atmosphere of the Fortune mainland was like this. Everyone cared about their reputation, and the atmosphere of scheming was far from being comparable to the Heaven Wasteland world and Eastern Wasteland world. Buzz buzz. Just as Xing Hui did not know whether to praise or belittle the general atmosphere of the Fortune mainland, the token in his hand vibrated slightly. Not long after, a figure landed in the center of the stage. Chihuang Sex Miao Daozi, I wonder which fellow Daoist would like to exchange pointers with me. Xing Hui immediately stood up. Wang Ke hurriedly said, this Miao Daozi is a person who specializes in entanglement. His immortal technique is called Spring Wind Rain, and it is most proficient in healing injuries and restoring true essence. Elder Dong Yang must not fall into a state of anxiety when fighting with him. It is best to end the battle quickly and secure victory. Xing Hui nodded. This was also his idea. Burning Sky Sex Dong Yang, please. Xing Hui gestured to Miao Daozi in front of him with his hand. Since the two of you are ready, then I will announce the start of the battle. The Transcendent Realm expert in charge of the referee immediately appeared and announced. The moment this Transcendent Realm expert gave the order, Xing Hui's aura suddenly erupted. In an instant, a terrifying and vast blazing pressure swept through the void. The phantom of a divine beast suddenly appeared behind Xing Hui, stirring up boundless power. Almost everyone's expression changed drastically. Then, before Miao Daozi could react, and before the crowd could see clearly what kind of saint physique Xing Hui had manifested, Miao Daozi was sent flying while vomiting blood. Like a meteor, Miao Daozi crashed into the ground and fainted. Swoosh! His aura was restrained. The powerful pressure that filled the entire fighting ring with a radius of more than 10 kilometers was quickly restrained by Xing Hui's genuine qi. Xing Hui once again returned to his calm appearance when he stepped onto the platform. He slightly cupped his hands to the unconscious Miao Daozi and said, "Thank you for letting me win." After that, his figure flashed and he returned to the Burning Sky sect. Such a straightforward battle stunned the Transcendent Realm expert in charge of the referee. It took him a while to react and announced Xing Hui's victory. Following his announcement, there was an uproar in the crowd. What's going on? Just now, I seem to have felt a terrifying aura from Brother Dong Yang of the Burning Sky sect. The aura was so strong that it made me tremble with fear. Humph. Before Brother Miao Daozi was ready, he suddenly attacked. It was like a sneak attack. He's really inhumane. Brother Dong Yang's sudden sneak attack was indeed a bit overboard, but he did it after the referee announced the start of the match, so it's not against the rules. We have to be more careful when we face him in the future. Moreover, Brother Miao Daozi is good at entangling and delaying. Brother Dong Yang took advantage of Brother Miao Daozi's immortal technique to use all his strength to win the match. His method is not glorious, but his tactical thinking is undoubtedly correct. All kinds of discussions were constantly heard in the crowd. There were people who felt that Qing Su's battle tactics were impressive, while there were people who felt that Qing Su was lacking in manners, or that he was a despicable ambusher. As for the powerful aura that Qing Su had displayed when he manifested the Golden Crow battle form earlier, no one paid any more attention to it very soon. Although these people did not pay attention to it, the Transcendent Realm experts and even the never-ending realm experts of the six supreme sects were looking at Xing Hui curiously. Interesting. It seems that the Burning Sky sect has produced an extraordinary talent this time. What Burning Sky sect? I think it's the Purple Cloud Palace. Dong Yang is most likely a genius disciple that the Purple Cloud Palace has been secretly cultivating. They just used the Burning Sky sect to push him out. Just wait and see. The Purple Cloud Palace will definitely take him in after the Fortune Creation Grand Banquet. The power of Dong Yang's battle constitution isn't simple. Although he immediately withdrew his divine body, I'm afraid that it's not a divine-grade battle constitution, but a divine-grade Golden Crow battle constitution. An ancestral patriarch of the Taisher sect said as he looked at the Great Sun Divine Palace. The palace master of the Great Sun Divine Palace, Xing Ji, looked at Xing Hui and nodded slightly. Such a good seedling who has cultivated the Golden Crow divine body shouldn't be wasted in the Purple Cloud Palace. Brother Xiang Jun, why don't you give him to the Great Sun Divine Palace? Xiang Jun was a grand elder sent by the Purple Cloud Palace headquarters on the Sky Pillar Mountain. He was a peak never-ending realm expert. When he heard Xing Ji, the palace master of the Great Sun Divine Palace, he laughed and said, "I don't know what the palace master is talking about. Dong Yang is a member of the Burning Sky sect. How can he be related to the Purple Cloud Palace?" Apparently, he was trying to smooth things over. Xing Ji smiled and did not take it seriously. If he had cultivated such an excellent genius disciple, he would not have let others poach him so easily. What a pity, he was a good seedling who cultivated the Golden Crow bloodline. The battles continued. The first round took more than half a day to end. Half of the 100 sects were eliminated, leaving only 50. As the first round came to an end, the second round began. Moreover, in the third round, Qing Su's medallion had already begun to vibrate again. Clearly, it was his turn. As he stood up, a figure whizzed over from the direction of the Purple Cloud Palace like a stream of light. The aura of a true energy realm expert emanated from his body without reservation. "I am Gaochen from the Purple Cloud Palace. Greetings, everyone. I wonder which of you would like to fight me." Chapter 314. The Purple Cloud Palace. He's going up against a genius disciple of the Purple Cloud Palace in the second round? This. Wang Kei's gaze landed on Xing Hui with a hint of worry in his eyes. "Dong Yang, just admit defeat when the time comes. Even if you lose, you can still get into the top 10 of the losers bracket." Admit defeat? Xing Hui frowned. "I want to know if the top 10 winners of the losers bracket can compete for the top 3. Top 3? Wang Kei was slightly taken aback. Elder Dongyang wants to compete for the top 3. That's impossible. The top 3 can only be decided from Tonghua, Boundless Dao, and Nantian Do. Whether it's immortal arts or secret treasures, they're all much stronger than ordinary experts. Even the peerless geniuses cultivated by the Purple Cloud Palace, the Primeval Sect, and the Heavenly Court can't beat them unless a miracle happens. You just need to answer my question." "Sure. Anyone in the top 10 is qualified to compete for the top 3. "I understand," Xing Hui said and leaped onto the platform. Seeing Xing Hui, Gaochen, who represented the Purple Cloud Palace, was slightly taken aback. He then chuckled with a faint arrogance on his face. "I know you, Dongyang. You originally wanted to join the Purple Cloud Palace and use our name to participate in the fortune pageant. However, your cultivation was too weak at that time, only at the Blue Netherworld realm. You didn't have the qualifications to participate in the fortune pageant, so you were rejected by the upper echelons of the Purple Cloud Palace. But because you're the son of chaos and contributed an item with 4 Daoist rhymes, Palace Master Xiang Hong of the Central Palace found a compromise for you and allowed you to participate in the fortune pageant under the name of the Burning Sky Sect. Am I right?" After he finished speaking, the Purple Cloud Palace's genius didn't give Xing Hui any time to speak. He waved his hand and said, "I'm the true seed of the Purple Cloud Palace. I'm a peerless genius who has cultivated true essence before the age of 80. Even if you've broken through to the prominent divine stage in this year, you're still no match for me. You should just surrender. Otherwise, don't blame me for teaching you a lesson on behalf of the Purple Cloud Palace's headquarters on Tianzhu Mountain. I'll let you understand the immensity of heaven and earth." Xing Hui glanced at the arrogant genius of the Purple Cloud Palace, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. However, he seemed to have thought of something after a while. He snorted and said, "Then I'll wish you, the peerless genius of the Purple Cloud Palace, a complete victory. You'll be ranked first in this fortune pageant." After he finished speaking, he said to the transformative realm arbitrator, "I surrender." As expected of an unorthodox person who tried to curry favor with our Purple Cloud Palace halfway through. You have no respect for your elders. Gaochen seemed to have heard the dissatisfaction in Xing Hui's words. He immediately waved his sleeve, snorted, and turned to leave. I want to be ranked first. We'll have a chance to compete. I hope you won't lose too quickly. Xing Hui looked at Gao Chen gloomily as he turned to leave. There was a hint of anger in his heart. Whoosh! In a flash, Xing Hui landed in the Fenchen sect's camp. Wang Ke saw the dissatisfaction on Xing Hui's face and hurriedly comforted him, Elder Dongyang, we don't have to lower ourselves to the same level as these disciples from Tianzhu Mountain. These disciples spend most of their time cultivating in Tianzhu Mountain and don't know the ways of the world. Plus, many elders have placed high hopes on them and doted on them. Over time, they've developed this arrogant attitude. After today's fortune pageant, they'll understand that there's always someone better out there. Xing Hui glanced at Wang Ke and nodded, but didn't say anything. The competition continued. 25 out of 50, 13 out of 25, and 7 out of 13. It took a total of 2 days. On the third day, it was time for the 43 people in the losers group to challenge each other. Before the battles of the losers bracket began, the Purple Cloud Palace did not say anything. Clearly, they believed that the situation was within their control. As for the possibility of Qing Su becoming displeased with the matter of the Gaochen, they seemed to have completely ignored it. After all, in their opinion, it wasn't a big deal for Xing Hui, who was in the prominent divine stage, to surrender to Gaochen, who was in the true energy stage. Compared to the winners group, although there were many powerhouses in the losers group who were unlucky enough to encounter the 6-seeded contestants and were defeated, overall, they were still weaker. 43 into 22, and 22 into 11. Xing Hui defeated his opponents without a hitch. After personally witnessing the strange immortal techniques, in order to ensure that nothing went wrong, Huang Xiaolong summoned his golden crow physique and defeated his opponents with lightning speed. Even if his opponents were members of the losers group, Huang Xiaolong didn't dare to underestimate them. After all, he knew too little about the Fortune Mainland's immortal techniques. In order to prevent himself from failing miserably and missing out on the Fortune Divine Jade, Huang Xiaolong had no choice but to deal with every battle with the mentality of a lion hunting a rabbit. On the next day, when it was time to advance from 11 to 6, Xing Hui was lucky enough to get a bye. Relying on this opportunity, he directly entered the top 6. As long as he won one more battle, he would be able to obtain one of the 3 spots and obtain the qualification to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. At this moment, even Yan Xian, Chen Shua, Wang Ke, and the others couldn't help but feel nervous. This is the last battle. Whether or not we can obtain the qualification to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade will depend on this battle. In this battle, the only one who can truly suppress Dong Yang is Ling Huyu. As long as he doesn't encounter Ling Huyu, Dong Yang's chances of winning are still above 70%. Wang Ke looked at the 6 opponents and said solemnly. Fortunately, it's Ling Huyu and not Cheng Yi. Although Ling Huyu has the fire aegis bead, his divine ability is limited to the prominent saint realm. Dong Yang, if you feel that you can't defeat your opponent, use the killing move you comprehended in the heaven-abandoning valley. It will definitely turn the tide. Burning Sky Sect's old ancestor Chen Shua said seriously. At the end of the day, Qing Su represented their Burning Heaven sect. If they could win the fortune banquet in the name of the Burning Heaven sect, the reputation of the Burning Heaven sect would definitely skyrocket. At that time, they would be able to gain a firm foothold among the first-rate sects and even develop into a powerful first-rate sect. Don't worry, I know what to do. Xing Hui said. He had to win this round, even if he had to use the divine art at the crucial moment. As the battle began, 2 figures stepped onto the platform. Seeing one of them, Wang Ke, Yan Xian, and Chen Shua were overjoyed. It's Ling Huyu. Ling Huyu is on the stage. Dong Yang doesn't have to fight with Ling Huyu anymore. Great. Xing Hui's expression didn't change as he looked at the remaining 3 people. Any one of them could be his next opponent. However, He was slightly startled when he saw a man among the three who was glaring at him with anger. Qihuang sex Miao Daozi. He didn't expect the Qihuang sex expert, who lost to him in the first round, to be able to stand out among the 43 people in the loser group. Ling Huyu's battle lasted for less than half an hour before it ended. As the referee of the place of the outer fringe announced the start of the second round, Xing Hui's participant token suddenly vibrated. At the same time, Xing Hui's participant token vibrated, Miao Daozi took out his own token and looked at Xing Hui. Qing Su smiled when he saw this. He directly landed on the platform and said to Miao Daozi, who had also leapt over, "What a coincidence. 4 days ago, I was caught off guard and was defeated by your sneak attack. I wasted so many days in the loser group. Today, I'll show you my true strength." Miao Daozi said angrily. "Caught off guard. Now, are you ready?" Xing Hui said with a smile. Spring, wind and rain. As soon as the transcendent expert announced the start of the battle, Miao Daozi immediately retreated and performed the immortal art he had mastered. With the spring, wind and rain blessing him, not only did it give him a decent defense, it also gave him an extremely strong recovery ability. Unfortunately, it was useless. Rumble. Behind Qing Su, it was like a scorching sun had suddenly erupted. Endless light and heat filled the entire platform in a single moment, so bright that the experts at the Spirit Uniting Realm and Green Netherworld Realm basically struggled to open their eyes. Within the endless light, a strand of great yang true fire blazed out, causing space to distort and the ground to turn into glass. It directly landed on Miao Daozi. Miao Daozi had only just pulled out a Class 6 armor after using spring, wind and rain, but it was directly incinerated by the Grand Sun True Fire. The scorching Grand Sun True Fire continued to burn Miao Daozi's body without slowing down at all, immediately making him cry out in pain. His aura rapidly melted away like snow under the scorching sun. Not good. At this critical moment, the 4 adjudicators reacted extremely quickly, charging onto the battlefield to save Miao Daozi from the fate of being burned to ash. At the same time, they used their own methods to try and remove the Grand Sun True Flame. However, under their true essence and methods, although the true sun fire was stopped, it was still burning fiercely and could not be extinguished in a short time. The-ish. Xing Hui stretched out a hand, drawing out the Grand Sun True Flame and sending it into the golden crow behind him. As the golden crow vanished into Xing Hui's body, the blinding light that had illuminated the platform rapidly faded away. Can we announce the victor now? That's the Grand Sun True Flame, right? It is indeed extremely overbearing. Although there are people in our Great Sun Divine Palace who have also cultivated the Great Sun Primordial Fire, but compared to your Great Sun Primordial Fire, it is still inferior by a notch. After personally experiencing the power of the Grand Sun True Flame, the Transcendent Realm expert in charge of the adjudicators looked at Xing Hui with a slightly different gaze. Just now, when they had attacked with all their strength, they had only been able to suppress the light of the Grand Sun True Flame and had not been able to remove it from Miao Daozi's body. This scene made them understand that this man in his golden crow battle form could threaten their lives. It's just a small trick, not worth mentioning. We can conclude that Miao Daozi is unable to withstand the burning of the Grand Sun True Flame. Therefore, you have won this round. Congratulations, you have earned the right to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade. Our palace master, Xing Ji, would like to invite Brother Dong Yang to a gathering at Dongyan Palace tonight. What do you think, Brother Dong Yang? The Transcendent Realm expert said without hesitation. Then, he sent a voice transmission to Dong Yang. Chapter 315. The Palace Master of the Great Sun Divine Palace wants to see me. Xing Hui's heart skipped a beat as he vaguely guessed something. Whether it was the Burning Sky sect or the Purple Cloud Palace, he didn't have much of a sense of belonging. As a son of chaos, he would be warmly welcomed if he joined any first-rate sect. After all, there were quite a number of sects qualified to participate in the Fortune Mainland's grand banquet, and the Son of Chaos was the only one lacking. As for the 10 Tao rhymes required for the Fortune Mainland's grand banquet, he had provided 4 of them. There was also the Purple Cloud Palace's supreme immortal techniques, the magic arsenal, the reversal of yin and yang, and the earth-shaking staff. The Great Sun Golden Crow technique from the Eastern Wilderness Golden Crow sect might not be any weaker than these. He didn't owe the Purple Cloud Palace anything. Perhaps, the Great Sun Golden Crow incantation that he had contributed to the Purple Cloud Palace could still be used to exchange for a few powerful supreme immortal techniques. Since the Starlight Palace Master has personally invited me, I will respectfully accept. Qing Su replied with a voice transmission. Good, 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 I will inform the Palace Master. Tonight, the East Flame Hall will await Your Excellency Dong Yang's arrival. A faint smile appeared on the Transcendent Realm expert's face. Tsing Hui nodded slightly and returned to the Burning Sky Sect's camp. As soon as he landed inside the Burning Sky Sect, everyone from the Burning Sky Sect gathered around him, their faces filled with joy. Good, very good. Elder Dong Yang, I didn't expect you to make it into the top 10 of the Fortune pageant and obtain the qualification to comprehend the Fortune Jade. Our Burning Sky sect actually produced a disciple who obtained the qualification to comprehend the Fortune Jade. It is really the blessing of our ancestors. From today onwards, our Burning Sky sect will no longer be unknown on the Fortune mainland. Soon, our Burning Sky sect will welcome an opportunity to develop and rise. Everyone gathered around Qing Su. They were overjoyed, and they did not even bother to watch the next battle to determine the final spot. In the afternoon, the top 10 spots were all decided. After the Starlight Palace Master gave a speech, she announced that the final ranking battle would begin tomorrow. Because Tsing Hui was thinking about the private transaction tonight, he immediately headed to the Purple Cloud Palace's courtyard. Just as he stepped out of the Burning Sky sect's courtyard, Wang Ke caught up to him. Elder Dong Yang, the Palace Master invites you. Palace Master. It just so happens that I have something to ask the Palace Lord. But what about the private transaction? With the Palace Master's words, a trading qualification is nothing. Tsing Hui nodded and followed Wang Ke to the courtyard where the Purple Cloud Palace resided. As one of the 6 supreme sects, the courtyard at the Purple Cloud Palace resided in was naturally not something that the Burning Sky sect could compare to. Rather than calling it a courtyard, it would be better to call it a large palace. It would not be a problem to accommodate thousands or tens of thousands of people. When Wang Ke led Tsing Hui to the periphery of the palace, they stopped. At this time, Sage Siheo walked out and nodded to Wang Quebec. He then led Tsing Hui straight into the palace. Elder Dong Yang, this time, in fact, several supreme elders, led by great ancestor Xiang Jun, want to see you. When you meet the supreme elders later, you have to be polite. After all, you have just entered our Purple Cloud Palace and have not made any great contributions. Even if your talent is amazing, you may not be able to directly enter Tianzhu Mountain to cultivate. It will depend on the attitude of these supreme elders. I understand. Tsing Hui responded and followed Ziheo to a living room. The living room was relatively remote, and there were not many people in the living room. There was a supreme elder of the never-ending realm, Xiang Jun, and 3 supreme elders of the transcendent realm. In addition to these elders, there were also Gao Chen, who was regarded as a seated contestant, and Xiang Hong, the Palace Lord of the Purple Cloud Palace of the Central Region. Dong Yang, you are here. Let me introduce you. This is the Elder of the Purple Cloud Palace who is in charge of leading the team this time, Great Ancestor Xiang Jun. These are the Supreme Elders who are accompanying him, Immortal Yunpeng, Immortal Kunwu, and Immortal Tianzi. As for this one, I believe you have already met him. He is the favored one that our Purple Cloud Palace has spent a lot of effort to cultivate, Gao Chen. In the future, he is expected to take charge of our Purple Cloud Palace and become our future Palace Lord. Seeing Tsing Hui arrive, Xiang Hong stood up and introduced them to Tsing Hui with a smile. Tsing Hui also bowed slightly to the elders. The elders nodded slightly, but Gao Chen looked at Tsing Hui with a scrutinizing gaze. Although he still looked arrogant, at least he was no longer condescending. Obviously, the strength that Tsing Hui had shown while overcoming all difficulties along the way had made Gao Chen take him seriously. Dong Yang, you are indeed a talent. I heard that you have obtained the inheritance of a son of chaos, and at the same time, obtained many resources and cultivation methods that he left behind. No wonder you can condense a divine-grade battle body. Xiang Jun looked at Tsing Hui and praised him with satisfaction. I still have to thank the Palace Lord for allowing me to cultivate in the Fenchen sect. If it weren't for the 6 blazing mysterious fire formation of the Fenchen sect, even if I could condense a divine-grade golden crow battle body, I might not have been able to make it in time for this creation grand pageant. Tsing Hui slightly raised his status in the Fenchen sect. After all, it was true that he had used the 6 blazing mysterious fire formation of the Fenchen sect to cultivate. When he stole the creation sacred jade and left, he would inevitably bring some trouble to the Fenchen sect. If the Purple Cloud Palace could protect the Fenchen sect, he could ensure that the Fenchen sect would be safe. The Burning Sky sect is also a member of the Purple Cloud Palace. It's an affiliated sect of the Purple Cloud Palace. As the favored one of the Purple Cloud Palace, it's reasonable for us to help you condense a divine-grade battle body. Xiang Jun smiled. After a few polite words, he gradually got to the point. Dong Yang, you have made it to the top 10 this time and are qualified to comprehend the creation sacred jade. However, there is one thing that you don't know. In fact, although the creation sacred jade has the ability to comprehend supreme celestial techniques, its real function is to assist others so that they can quickly master and cultivate supreme celestial techniques. If it is only used to comprehend supreme celestial techniques, it will be a waste of God's gift. Tsing Hui looked at Xiang Jun without batting an eyelid. Then, Supreme Elder, what do you mean? Since you already understand that the main function of the Fortune Jade is to help people master immortal techniques as quickly as possible, I'll be frank with you. I heard from Xiang Hong that although you learned 2 supreme immortal techniques from our Purple Cloud Palace a year ago, these 2 supreme immortal techniques won't be of any help to your battle prowess. Even if you master them, they'll be useless. If you use the precious opportunity of comprehending the Fortune Jade to learn these 2 useless immortal techniques, you'll lose more than you gain. Why don't I make the decision and let you choose 2 more immortal techniques? You can choose whether they're ordinary or supreme immortal techniques. After all, no matter how profound the Fortune Jade is, comprehending 2 immortal techniques in 5 days is the limit. Moreover, it's very likely that these 2 immortal techniques were comprehended by him in the past. Since you've obtained these 2 immortal techniques, you've already obtained what you want. Why don't you give the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Jade for 5 days to Gao Chen? Give the opportunity to comprehend the creation sacred jade for 5 days to Gao Chen. Tsing Hui frowned when he heard Xiang Jun's words. That's right. Gao Chen is a genius disciple carefully cultivated by our Purple Cloud Palace. In the future, he has a chance to become a Palace Lord of the Purple Cloud Palace. At such a young age, not only has he condensed his vital energy and stepped into the Saint Realm, but he has also comprehended a total of 5 celestial techniques. Even if he has enough time to comprehend the creation sacred jade, it is not impossible for him to master 1 or 2 of them. Once he masters the celestial techniques, his combat strength will definitely skyrocket. At that time, he will be able to suppress the other geniuses in the palace and will almost immediately be conferred the title of Deputy Palace Lord. He will be groomed as the future Palace Lord of the Purple Cloud Palace. Because of your help, Gao Chen is indebted to you. When you arrive at the Purple Cloud Palace on the Pillar of Heaven's mountain, Gao Chen will naturally take care of you. Who knows, you might even become Gao Chen's vassal. There's no need to talk about glory, wealth, and celestial techniques. Even cultivating the golden core and extending your lifespan by 3,000 years is not an extravagant hope. Xiang Jun advised in a sincere and heartfelt manner. To the side, Gaochen nodded slightly and said, Dongyang, your cultivation is not obtained through proper means. If you want the Purple Cloud Palace to nurture you wholeheartedly, you'll still need to observe for a long time. Doing so will only waste the precious cultivation time of your golden years. However, as long as you're willing to give me the opportunity to comprehend the Fortune Jade, I'll definitely do my best to manage it for you. I'll let the Purple Cloud Palace nurture you as the next genius. When the time comes, let alone 2 supreme celestial arts, even 3, 4, or 5 celestial arts won't be a problem for you. This is a critical opportunity for your life to change. You must seize it. As the supreme elder of the 6 supreme sects, Xiang Jun had always been high and mighty. No one had ever disobeyed his orders. Gaochen's words seemed inappropriate to be used to recruit subordinates. However, in Dongyang's opinion, as someone who was going to compete for the position of Palace Lord of the Purple Cloud Palace in the future, he must have such an imposing manner. Even if he had a favor to ask of others, he must not be submissive to avoid ruining his character. After all, the future Palace Lord of a supreme sect would not be weaker than anyone in the world. Gaochen is right. Dongyang, this is indeed your opportunity. You must seize it. The other Transcendent Realm experts who had long since joined Gaochen's side echoed. Since they were there, they naturally belonged to the faction that supported Gaochen. Xing Hui sneered in his heart as he looked at the few of them who were acting as if they thought highly of him by offering him an olive branch. They were all high-ranking members of the Purple Cloud Palace, but when it came to dealing with people, these elders of Tianzhu Mountain were far inferior to Palace Lord Xiang Hong. Just because he said that he would give him 2 celestial techniques and take care of him in the future, he wanted to take away his opportunity to comprehend the creation's sacred jade. Had these elders been cultivating at Tianzhu Mountain for so long that their brains had decayed? Did they really think that he was a greenhorn who wanted to gain something without risking anything? Moreover, he would never give up the opportunity to comprehend the creation's sacred jade to anyone. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint Elder Xiang Jun and Brother Gaochen. I also want to use the creation's sacred jade to comprehend the supreme celestial techniques. Xing Hui said lightly. Huh. His words made Xiang Jun's face change color. Gaochen, on the other hand, was taken aback. He could not believe that Xing Hui dared to reject his and Elder Xiang Jun's request. A while later, Gaochen's face immediately sank when he saw how calm Qing Su was, as if he really was unwilling to give up the chance to comprehend the Fortune Jade. What did you say? I didn't hear you clearly earlier. Say it again. Brother Gaochen, it seems like you're a little hard of hearing. Since you didn't hear me clearly, I'll say it again. I don't want to give up the opportunity to comprehend the creation's sacred jade. Chapter 316. You, Gaochen stared at Xing Hui with fire in his eyes. How dare you? Humph. Xiang Jun snorted and said coldly, Dongyang, you have to think this through. 2 immortal techniques and the friendship of our Purple Cloud Palace's future palace master is definitely not something that a chance to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade can compare to. You don't know how to grasp the great benefits that are right in front of you. Instead, you want to push it away. Haven't you heard of the old saying, if you don't take it, you'll be punished? I'm sorry. I came from an unorthodox background and haven't read much, so I've never heard of it. Xing Hui said indifferently. How dare you? Do you know what will happen to you if you offend me? Oh. What will happen to you? Humph, I am in charge of the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. If anyone wants to comprehend celestial techniques, they have to go through me first. This is especially true for someone like you, who joined the Purple Cloud Palace halfway. The review is even stricter when you want to comprehend celestial techniques or control secret treasures. A small problem can cause you to miss out on your original opportunity to comprehend celestial techniques. Do you want to use the fortune jade to comprehend supreme celestial techniques, or do you want to miss out on the opportunity to cultivate the supreme celestial techniques of the Purple Cloud Palace in the future? Gao Chen sneered when he saw that Xing Hui had angered Elder Xiang Jun. A puny prominent divine stage cultivator actually dared to go against their Purple Firmament Palace's never-ending stage Grand Elder. He truly didn't know how to write the word death. After offending the Grand Elder, no matter how talented you were, after being suppressed for a few decades or 100 years, you would still fade into the crowd. Xiang Hong, who was standing at the side, saw that things would come to a deadlock if this continued. He quickly stepped forward to mediate. Dong Yang, you want to comprehend the fortune divine jade to obtain more immortal techniques. Elder Xiang Jun has already said that he's the elder in charge of the sutra depository. If Elder Xiang Jun is satisfied, you can cultivate any immortal technique you want in the future. Why give up what's near for what's far away? Isn't that right, Elder? A faint smile appeared on Xiang Jun's face. That's right. I've already given you the opportunity. Let's see if you can grasp it. Although he said that, he was already filled with disgust for Xing Hui. He was only waiting to obtain the right to comprehend the fortune divine jade for Gao Chen. As for whether he would bestow a few celestial techniques to Dong Yang after Gao Chen enjoyed the right to comprehend the fortune divine jade, it was up to him. Xing Hui ignored Xiang Jun and turned to Xiang Hong. Palace Master, if there's nothing else, I'll take my leave. Dong Yang, don't ruin your future because of your youthful vigor. You should consider the elder's suggestion when you go back. Xiang Hong really didn't know how to continue talking to Xing Hui. He was a member of Elder Xiang Jun's faction. Naturally, he had to prioritize the interests of his faction. Even though Xing Hui had a bright future ahead of him, and his potential surpassed Gao Chen's, Gao Chen was someone they had spent a lot of effort to nurture since young. He trusted him. On the other hand, no matter how talented Xing Hui was, it couldn't cover up the fact that he came from an unorthodox background. Why would he risk offending the Grand Elder to promote a talented young man? His boldness hadn't reached that level yet. I understand. Xing Hui said. He didn't even bow to Xiang Jun and the others as he turned and left. So what if the Purple Firmament Palace's never-ending realm Grand Elder? He wasn't going to stay on the Fortune mainland. So what if he offended him? Moreover, even if he wanted to survive on the Fortune mainland, he could still join the Great Sun Divine Palace if he couldn't enter the Purple Firmament Palace. Judging from the fact that the Great Sun Divine Palace's Palace Master had personally invited him, it was clear that the Palace Master had high hopes for his future. Humph, you don't know how to appreciate favors. When Xiang Jun saw Xing Hui turn and leave, the dissatisfaction in his heart was obvious. In the end, he came from an unorthodox background. It's reasonable that he doesn't know how to respect others. I don't think it's wise to accept someone like him into the Purple Firmament Palace. Otherwise, he will bring trouble to the Purple Firmament Palace sooner or later. Gao Chen said with a gloomy expression. Xiang Hong couldn't help but sigh in his heart. If Xing Hui was still in the Blue Netherworld realm or had only cultivated a saint-grade battle physique, it would be Dong Yang's loss if the Purple Firmament Palace didn't accept him. But now, Dong Yang had actually cultivated a divine-grade battle physique. This was a rare talent that only appeared once in 1,000 years. If the other supreme sects didn't know that he was a member of the Purple Firmament Palace, they would have fought over him. If such a genius was pushed to the other supreme sects, the Purple Firmament Palace would be the one losing out. At this moment, Xiang Hong couldn't help but feel regret. He should have accepted Xing Hui into the Purple Firmament Palace when he had broken through to the prominent divine stage and condensed a divine-grade battle physique 10 months ago. Once he had become a member of the Purple Firmament Palace, Xiang Hong had various methods to make him submit if he didn't obey the elder's orders. But now, it was too late to say anything. After leaving the Purple Firmament Palace's palace, Xing Hui felt a little suffocated. For days ago, he had given the victory that was within his grasp to Gauchen. However, when Gauchen had spoken coldly in front of him, he was already dissatisfied. He didn't expect something like this to happen today. Gauchen and the elder of the Purple Firmament Palace actually wanted him to give up the opportunity to comprehend the fortune divine jade. Did they really think that he was the pride of the Purple Firmament Palace and that the whole world revolved around him? Moreover, after the commotion caused by Gauchen and Xiang Jun, he was too embarrassed to ask Palace Master Xiang Hong for the right to participate in the private trade fair. I only hope that the Star Worship Palace Master of the Great Sun Divine Palace will be easier to talk to and get something that I'm satisfied with. Tsing Hui muttered to himself. Seeing that the sky had darkened, he didn't return to the Burning Sky sect. Instead, he turned around and went straight into the Great Sun Divine Palace. Soon, he arrived at the East Flame Palace. When he arrived at the East Flame Palace, a man who was also in the prominent divine stage immediately came out to welcome him. He cupped his hands at Tsing Hui and said, "Are you Brother Dong Yang? The elder is already waiting in the palace. We'll inform the palace master immediately. He'll be here soon. Brother Dong Yang, please come in first." "Thank you." Tsing Hui nodded and followed the man into the East Flame Palace. After walking around the palace for a while, they soon arrived at a guest hall. The arbitrator of the transformative stage who had secretly sent a message to Tsing Hui earlier saw Tsing Hui and strode over. He smiled and said, "Elder Dong Yang, you're finally here. Oh, I haven't introduced myself. I'm Du Sun, the Supreme Elder of the Great Sun Divine Palace's Central Region Main Palace." "Greetings, Elder Du Senior." Elder Dong Yang, you don't have to be so polite. Please take a seat." Du Sen laughed aloud and led Qing Su to a seat. An attendant quickly served up many refreshments and tea. Tsing Hui and Elder Du Sen sat for a while. Before they could talk in depth, a series of footsteps came from outside the palace. Then, the palace master of the Great Sun Divine Palace, Xing Ji, who was hosting the Creation Grand Banquet, strode into the palace. "Elder Dong Yang, sorry to keep you waiting." Seeing Tsing Hui, the palace master of the Great Sun Divine Palace, whose cultivation had reached the never-ending realm, cupped his hands politely to Tsing Hui. Just these small details were enough to show how much he valued Tsing Hui. "Palace Master Xing Ji. We invited Elder Dong Yang here this time to ask about your future development. After all, the Great Sun Divine Palace is extremely curious about Elder Dong Yang, who can condense the divine grade Golden Crow battle body. Future development." Tsing Hui already understood what the Great Sun Divine Palace was implying. In addition, he wanted to make a deal with the Great Sun Divine Palace, so he immediately said, "Although I'm a Supreme Elder of the Burning Sky sect, I'm indebted to Palace Master Xiang Hong of the Purple Cloud Palace. He once gave me 2 supreme celestial arts, a treasure refining technique, and a secret treasure. Therefore, if nothing unexpected happens, I will choose to join the Purple Cloud Palace. 2 supreme celestial arts, a treasure refining technique, and a secret treasure." Xing Ji chuckled. Xing Ji chuckled and said, "I remember that Elder Dong Yang received 2 supreme immortal skills, a treasure refining skill, and a secret treasure. At the same time, he also contributed a top cultivation method, a cultivation method that can cultivate the divine grade Gold Crow combat body. In addition, although Palace Master Xiang Hong of the Purple Cloud Palace wants you to join the Purple Cloud Palace, he has always been overcautious. At present, Elder Dong Yang should not have joined the Purple Cloud Palace. At least according to our secret investigation, Elder Dong Yang's name was not found in the disciple register of the Purple Cloud Palace. Indeed, the main reason is to borrow the Burning Sky sect's name to participate in the Good Fortune Gathering. I believe that the Great Sun Divine Palace also has sects that secretly support them, wanting to obtain more time to comprehend the Fortune Jade in the Good Fortune Gathering." Tsing Hui admitted generously. "Elder Dong Yang, you've misunderstood. We're not blaming Elder Dong Yang for this. We just feel that Elder Dongyang has cultivated the divine grade Golden Crow battle body. If you want to cultivate in the Purple Cloud Palace, it'll be a waste of time. In terms of understanding of the Golden Crow divine beast, no one in the entire continent dares to say they're number one. It just so happens that Elder Dongyang hasn't joined the Purple Cloud Palace yet. Why don't you join the Great Sun Divine Palace? If Elder Dongyang is willing, the Great Sun Divine Palace is willing to give Elder Dongyang a real elder status. Elder status. Tsing Hui's heart skipped a beat. The status of the elders of the 6 supreme sects was far superior to that of the supreme elders of some first-class sections. This could be guessed from perfected Zihao's visit to the Burning Sky sect and the Burning Sky sect's attitude. If he joined the Great Sun Divine Palace, he could really become an elder of the Great Sun Divine Palace. The treatment he would receive was indeed incomparable to that of the Purple Cloud Palace. I need to think about this carefully. After all, the Purple Cloud Palace has done me a great favor. Although the 2 supreme deity skills of the Purple Cloud Palace were obtained by me by offering the Great Sun Golden Crow skill, I still owe them a debt of gratitude. Of course, we can understand, but please believe in the ability of the Great Sun Divine Palace. Joining the Great Sun Divine Palace is definitely better for your future than the Purple Cloud Palace. For your own future and for the hope of immortality in the future, even if you abandon the Purple Cloud Palace, no one can say why. What's more, Elder Dongyang hasn't really joined the Purple Cloud Palace and isn't on the disciple list of the Purple Cloud Palace. Tsing Hui nodded, but still didn't give a definite answer. Seeing this, Xing Ji couldn't help but strike while the iron was hot. I heard Elder Dongyang mention the Great Sun Golden Crow skill just now. Is this the supreme cultivation skill that Elder Dongyang has cultivated? Yes. Since Elder Dongyang is willing to trade this supreme cultivation skill that can condense the Golden Crow Divine Body with the Purple Cloud Palace, I wonder if the Great Sun Divine Palace will have the opportunity to take a look. The Purple Cloud Palace will give us 2 supreme deity skills, 1 artifact refining skill, and 1 secret treasure. The Great Sun Divine Palace will give us 3 supreme deity skills, 1 artifact refining skill, and 1 secret treasure. What do you think, Elder Dongyang? Tsing Hui had mentioned the Great Sun Golden Crow skill time and time again, waiting for the Great Sun Divine Palace to make a bid. Now that the Star Worship Palace Master finally agreed, he was also in the mood. Logically speaking, if the Great Sun Divine Palace obtains the Great Sun Golden Crow skill, they might be able to perfect the Great Sun Golden Crow skill in the future. I can also see the future of my cultivation more clearly. This is not impossible. However, the reason why I was willing to contribute the Great Sun Golden Crow skill to the Purple Cloud Palace with 2 supreme deity skills and 1 secret treasure is because the Purple Cloud Palace has done me a favor. The Star Worship Palace Master was slightly startled when she heard Tsing Hui's words. Then, she smiled. Of course, the favor can't be measured by ordinary items. However, the Great Sun Divine Palace is indeed very curious about this cultivation skill. How about you choose 4 supreme deity skills, 1 artifact refining skill, and 1 secret treasure? Elder Dongyang, please fulfill my request. When Qing Su sensed the abnormality in Xingji's smile, he already understood that the palace master had probably seen through his intentions, so it was no longer appropriate for him to continue increasing the price. Since the palace master has taken a fancy to this inferior cultivation method of mine, I'll accept your offer. Chapter 317. Elder Dongyang is indeed efficient. Du Sen, take my order and lead Elder Dongyang to the Great Sun Divine Palace's Scripture Pavilion to choose 4 immortal arts, 1 artifact refining art, and 1 secret treasure. Xing Ji laughed and said. Yes. Du Sen was rather confused about what was going on, but when he saw that the palace master had already reached an agreement with Qing Su, all he had to do was follow her orders. He was also very curious about Tsing Hui's cultivation art that allowed him to cultivate the Golden Crow Divine Body. Then, I will have to trouble the palace lord to prepare a jade talisman that can be inscribed with divine sense. Xing Hui said. No problem, you can go and choose the immortal arts, artifact refining art, and secret treasure that you are satisfied with. It won't be too late to inscribe the cultivation art after you have chosen them. Xing Ji seemed to be quite generous. Xing Hui was now in the Great Sun Divine Palace. He didn't think that a prominent divine stage cultivator could play any tricks in his territory. If he was tricked by Xing Hui in the Great Sun Divine Palace and escaped with many immortal arts, then as the palace lord, he could only accept it. I have already thought about the secret treasure. I beg the palace lord to give me a top-grade fire warding pearl. Xing Hui said. The fire warding pearl was a treasure that could resist most fire damage. The low-grade fire warding pearl's fire resistance was limited to the spirit chi as 1 and the azure darkness stage. The middle grade was for the prominent divine stage and the true essence stage. As for the top grade, it could even defend against the fire elemental attacks of transcendent and never-ending stage cultivators. Although it wasn't as effective as the Xianyang bead from Tianqiong, it wasn't much weaker. Buying the Xianyang bead required Tianqiong's contribution points, but Xing Hui couldn't do that. Since he couldn't buy the Xianyang bead for now, he could only take advantage of this opportunity to compromise. A top-grade fire warding pearl. Alright, I'll agree to this. I'll give you a fire warding pearl. Thank you very much, Palace Lord. Xing Hui said with a smile. With this fire warding pearl, the Jin Wu religion's eternal blazing sun attacks would no longer be a threat to him. Elder Dong Yang, please. When Du Sun saw that Xing Hui and the palace lord had reached an agreement, he gestured with his hand and brought him into the Great Sun Divine Palace. The immortal arts that Star Sacrifice spoke of naturally referred to the numerous comparatively common ordinary immortal arts and supreme immortal arts. Ultimate immortal arts like the 10 suns incinerate the heavens could only be passed down orally at the headquarters. Under Du Sen's lead, the two of them made their way to the scripture pavilion very quickly. Along the way, Du Sen introduced them to Qing Su. Our great sun god palace has collected 152 immortal techniques. Among them, 13 are supreme immortal techniques, 29 are high-grade immortal techniques, and the rest are ordinary immortal techniques. The best immortal technique is the 3 purities sex signature immortal technique, 1 chi into 3 purities. The worst ones are techniques like spitting fire, swallowing blades, and so on. 1 chi into 3 pure ones. There was even such an immortal technique. Did the 3 pure ones sect teach this supreme immortal technique to outsiders? How is that possible? The 3 pure ones sect treasured this supreme immortal technique a lot. But later on, someone from our Great Sun Divine Palace actually comprehended it from the Fortune Jade. No matter how precious 1 chi into 3 pure ones sect is to them, they can't stop others from comprehending it themselves. Xing Hui nodded. The 3 pure ones sect had nothing to say if others comprehended it themselves. He had been curious about the profundity of 1 chi into 3 pure ones for a long time. Not only because this immortal technique was related to a great story in ancient Wuxia myths and legends, but also because of its astonishing power. At the entry level of this immortal technique, one could create 2 incarnations, but their strength would only be 10% of the originals. At the initial success level, the incarnation's battle strength would increase to 30% of the originals. Only at the completion level could one create 3 incarnations with the same strength as the original. Even the 10th level incarnation technique can't compare to the perfection level of 1 chi into 3 pure ones. Xing Hui muttered to himself. Elder Dong Yang, please. Thank you, Elder Du Senior. Maybe we will become members of the palace soon. Elder Dong Yang, you don't have to be so polite with me. Du Sen chuckled. After he got to the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion, he gave the palace lord's token to the Transcendent State Elder who was guarding the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion. He then stood in front of the Hidden Scriptures Pavilion and said, I will wait here. Elder Dong Yang, you can come out whenever you want. Elder Du Sen, please wait for a moment. I will come out as soon as possible. No hurry, no hurry. Du Sen said with a smile and looked quite friendly. A prominent divine state overlord who had cultivated the divine-grade golden crow body would have a bright future as long as he could pass the examination and gain the trust of the Great Sun Divine Palace. Therefore, he didn't mind building a good relationship with this young man before he cultivated a grand divine power. After entering the hidden scriptures pavilion of the Great Sun Divine Palace, Xing Hui started to read. It had to be said that because the Fortune mainland had been peaceful for a long time, the six supreme sects didn't have any large-scale wars. Normally, they would constantly infiltrate each other's forces. The lower echelons of the sects, and even the higher echelons, had reached the extent where they were in each other's midst. Under such circumstances, the various immortal arts they had collected were no exception. Among the 152 immortal arts in the Great Sun Divine Palace, 60% of them were similar to the Purple Firmament Palace's immortal arts. The remaining 20% were modified immortal arts. The degree of their profoundness wasn't bad, but there were obvious flaws. Only the remaining 2 levels of immortal arts could be considered the true essence of the Great Sun Divine Palace. Of course, this could also be related to the fact that the Great Sun Divine Palace deliberately hid their unique and powerful immortal arts. They purposely looked for the more common immortal arts in the hidden scriptures pavilion. The 4 immortal arts had a wide range of choices. Xing Hui didn't need to be too careful. The first thing he chose was the 5-Qi fasting technique and the wandering spirit control technique. The 5-Qi fasting technique was a special immortal art that could swallow the 5 elements to replenish one's energy, allowing one to not eat for months or even years. The grade of this immortal art wasn't high, and the difficulty of cultivating it was also extremely low. However, it could be considered a must-have immortal art for traveling. As for the wandering spirit control technique, one could cultivate one's primordial spirit and travel freely through the void. How cool was that? Most importantly, this wandering spirit control technique had a good tempering effect on one's mind. It was said that when the wandering spirit control technique reached perfection, one could soar into the 9 heavens astral winds and borrow the purple firmament lightning's power to temper one's primordial spirit. This would allow one's primordial spirit to transform from yin to yang, and from illusion to reality. At that time, as long as one's primordial spirit wasn't destroyed, the cultivator would be immortal. Even if one's physical body were to fall, one could seize another body and be reborn. Unfortunately, due to the difficulty of cultivating the wandering spirit control technique, no one had managed to cultivate it to perfection. However, in terms of difficulty, even though the wandering spirit control technique was difficult to cultivate, it was still inferior to Xing Hui's I Chi turning into 3 pure ones. The I Chi turning into 3 pure ones was one of the 3 most difficult immortal arts to cultivate among the 20 or so supreme immortal arts that countless cultivators on the Fortune mainland had tried to comprehend. The 3 pure one sect's boundless Tao's aptitude was mediocre, and he wasn't famous in the 3 pure one sect. However, since he had started cultivating the I Chi turning into 3 pure ones 26 years ago, the 3 pure ones sect had spared no effort in nurturing him, pushing his cultivation to a higher level. More than 10 years ago, he had obtained the right to comprehend the Fortune Divine Jade in the Fortune Mainland Grand Assembly. He had lived up to everyone's expectations, and with the help of the Fortune Divine Jade, he had cultivated the I Chi turning into 3 pure ones to the small success stage, and was able to create a clone with half of his battle strength. Fasting technique, wandering spirit control technique, I Chi turning into 3 pure ones, the 4th immortal art. Xing Hui had his eyes on the shrinking ground technique. This was an immortal art that allowed one to move swiftly on the ground. The speed was as fast as teleportation. Unfortunately, this immortal art had too many limitations, and it could only move on the ground. Xing Hui guessed that this was a movement technique that borrowed the power of the rotation of the stars. After leaving the ground, one couldn't use the power of the rotation of the stars, so naturally, it couldn't be used. As a cultivator's cultivation increases, the battlefield will shift to the void, so immortal arts like shrinking ground technique are useless. In the end, Xing Hui gave up on this immortal art and chose the supreme immortal art, stellar transposition. It had to be said that although there were many immortal arts on the Fortune mainland, the types were too strange. For example, fog summoning, wind borrowing, flame spitting, blade swallowing, these immortal arts were of little value. There were also Qi Qing, sun exposure, moon summoning, and Midas touch, which left him speechless. Shaking his head, Xing Hui put away these immortal arts, and headed towards the treasure refining technique. Although the Great Sun Divine Palace mainly focused on awakening the Golden Crow physique, they didn't seem to refine treasures. There were only 30 treasure refining techniques in the scripture depository, which was a level lower than the 44 techniques in the Purple Cloud Palace. However, when he thought about how he managed to obtain a supreme immortal art like 1 Qi into 3 pure ones in the scripture depository of the Great Sun Divine Palace, he was satisfied. He had obtained the Wind Freezing Pearls treasure refining technique in the Purple Cloud Palace's scripture depository, and he didn't want to miss out on an opportunity in the Great Sun Divine Palace. After searching for a while, a treasure refining technique appeared in front of him. Tightening Band. The tightening band that Tang Xuanzang used to subdue the great sage, Heaven's Equal, Sun Wukong. Looking at this treasure, Xing Hui's eyes lit up. If he could really refine this treasure, if he encountered experts or demonic beasts that he needed to subdue in the future, he only needed to wear this tightening band, and they would immediately be obedient. Even if he imparted the incantation to others, they would also be able to control the cultivator that was bound by the tightening band. The tightening band didn't just bind a person's head, and the pain it brought wasn't just physical pain, but spiritual pain. Moreover, once the tightening band was put on, even if the cultivator had many tricks up their sleeves, even if their primordial spirit left their body, or changed their size, they wouldn't be able to break free from the tightening band. This point was vividly displayed by the great sage equaling heaven. This is it. Xing Hui took out the tightening band's treasure refining technique. Fasting technique, roaming spirit control technique, 1 Qi into 3 pure ones, stellar transposition, tightening band treasure refining technique, and a high-grade fire aversion pearl. It had to be said that the Great Sun Golden Crow incantation exchanged for more treasures from the Great Sun Divine Palace than the Purple Cloud Palace. No wonder the Purple Cloud Palace was the first force to obtain the Fortune Divine Jade, but in the end, they couldn't keep it. In the end, the Fortune Divine Jade was forced to be made public by the other 5 great sects, allowing everyone on the Fortune mainland to use it. In terms of buying people's hearts, the Purple Cloud Palace really couldn't compete with the Great Sun Divine Palace. At least, after this experience, Xing Hui's impression of the Great Sun Divine Palace had already surpassed the Purple Cloud Palace. Chapter 318. After choosing the immortal techniques and artifact refining techniques he needed, Xing Hui left the scripture pavilion. Du Sen watched as the elder of the scripture pavilion recorded down the immortal arts and treasure forging techniques that Qing Su had chosen. He could not help but be rather surprised. Elder Dong Yang, I remember that you've only learnt magic arsenal and the reversal of yin and yang, right? Since you have awakened the Golden Crow bloodline and cultivated the divine grade Golden Crow battle body, why didn't you learn sun exposure and Qi Qing? What do sun exposure and Qi Qing have to do with the Golden Crow bloodline? Of course they are related. If the Golden Crow bloodline can be cultivated under the sun, the effect will be significant. Sometimes, one can even collect the essence of the sun from the sun in the sky. The essence of the sun is comparable to several months of cultivation and is more useful than ordinary fire attribute spirit crystals. As for sun exposure, it is the idea of increasing the sun's true power. It can make the sun in the sky shine brighter, and in this way, it can absorb more sun's power. If it can assist the Great Sun Divine Palace with some special secret techniques, it is possible to condense the essence of the sun into sun crystals under sun exposure. Sun crystals. Xing Hui was slightly startled. As his cultivation increased and he could cultivate on the core of the sun in the sky, Xing Hui no longer had any concept of sun essence and sun crystals. However, this did not mean that these resources were not precious. From the fact that the Jin Wu religion did not hesitate to use large amounts of Dao aura to buy sun crystals from him, it could be seen how precious these resources were. And with the help of the sun exposure immortal art and secret techniques, the cultivators of the Great Sun Divine Palace were actually able to condense great sun crystals with their own abilities. Such ability was truly inconceivable. Du Sen seemed to understand something when he saw Qing Su's appearance. He said with some pity, "Actually, in my opinion, the greatest use of immortal techniques to us cultivators isn't to increase our battle prowess but to provide support. With immortal techniques, we can do many things that cultivation can't. Setting aside Qi Qing and sun exposure, things like riding on clouds, inertia, and size manipulation have endless uses." Hearing this, Xing Hui glanced at the sutra pavilion behind him. "It's a pity that I've already chosen a suitable immortal technique. I'm afraid I won't have a chance to enter the sutra pavilion in the near future." Du Sen nodded and said, "I've seen the immortal arts you've chosen. The fasting art is better than the art of fasting, but the art of spiritual control, the three pure ones in one breath, and the stellar transposition are all supreme immortal arts that are extremely difficult to cultivate, especially the three pure ones in one breath. It's one of the three supreme immortal arts that are considered to be the most difficult to cultivate, along with the art of future reversal and the art of blooming flower. Predict the future. Flower blooming for a moment." Xing Hui was slightly stunned. This is the most powerful divine ability of the primeval sect and the netherworld sect. It can predict the future, and flower blooming is an extremely evil divine ability. It can manifest a seven-colored flower that can devour the cultivator's blood, essence, and psyche, and finally condense into a Dao fruit. Those who consume the Dao fruit can extend their lifespan and even increase their cultivation base. The reason why the other five supreme sects are not interested in the netherworld sect is because of this supreme immortal art. I can't believe there's such an evil immortal art. Xing Hui's horizons were broadened. Fortunately, this immortal art is extremely difficult to cultivate. The netherworld sect has been established for more than 2,000 years, and only 2 people have managed to cultivate this immortal art to great success. If this immortal art wasn't fully cultivated, its power would have been relatively ordinary. Otherwise, the world of cultivation would have suffered a great catastrophe long ago. Xing Hui nodded in agreement. It could devour the cultivator's blood, essence, and psyche and condense them into a Dao fruit that could extend one's lifespan and increase one's cultivation base. This was practically a fantasy version of the Dark North divine art. If this immortal art could be easily cultivated, the world would have been thrown into chaos long ago. Let me take a look at your artifact refining technique. Tight hoop. This artifact refining technique is indeed not bad. However, the wishful gold essence required to refine this artifact refining technique is very difficult to obtain. If a substitute is used, the effect will be greatly reduced, and there is even a possibility that someone will break free. You need to be mentally prepared. Du Sen warned. I understand. Since you've chosen what you need, let's go see the palace lord. Seeing that Xing Hui had obtained 4 immortal arts and 1 artifact refining technique, Du Sen led Xing Hui back to East Flame Palace. When they arrived at East Flame Palace, Xing Hui immediately handed over the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that he had prepared. The palace lord is indeed a trustworthy person. This is the Great Sun Golden Crow technique that I'm cultivating. Good, good, good. Xing Ji's eyes flashed with a trace of passion as he received the Great Sun Golden Crow technique immediately. He had said that he would let Xing Hui choose the immortal arts first and that there was no need to hurry about the technique. That was to give Xing Hui peace of mind. Faced with such a god-level technique that could cultivate the divine-grade Golden Crow battle body, no one would believe that he was not eager to take a look at it. After roughly flipping through the manual, Xing Ji immediately had a preliminary understanding of it. It really is worthy of being called a supreme technique that can condense the divine body. The killing techniques derived from this technique are not outstanding, but in cultivating vital energy, refining vital energy, and even the final step of condensing the divine body, it is indeed unique. Also, it contains the method of condensing the eternal blazing Sunday. I'm rather curious about it. If I have the time, I must study it carefully and see if I can use the vital energy cultivated from the Great Sun Divine Palace's sect guarding technique to condense the eternal blazing Sunday. I wish the Palace Lord Xing Ji will get what he wishes for. Xing Hui said. This Great Sun Golden Crow technique is indeed a divine grade technique. For immortal arts, a treasure refining technique, and a high-grade fire aversion pearl in exchange for such a divine grade technique, it's worth it. Xing Ji replied in a serious tone. When Qing Su heard that, he could understand. The value of the Great Sun Golden Crow technique in the hands of the Great Sun Divine Palace, which specialized in the Golden Crow bloodline, and in the hands of the Purple Cloud Palace, which was well versed in all aspects, naturally couldn't be compared. Since the divine manual is authentic, the transaction is complete. I will take my leave first. My previous invitation has always been valid for Elder Dong Yang. Elder Dong Yang, why don't you consider it carefully? If Elder Dong Yang agrees to become an elder of the Great Sun Divine Palace, the entire Great Sun Divine Palace will welcome you with open arms. I will consider it carefully. After the creation pageant, I will give Palace Lord Xing Ji an answer. Hearing this, Xing Ji relaxed a lot. The creation pageant would end in half a month at most. With his temperament that had lived for thousands of years, he wouldn't be unable to wait for half a month. He immediately said, then I will wait for Elder Dong Yang's good news. Tsing Hui nodded slightly and left the East Flame Palace. After Tsing Hui left, Du Sen came in front of Xing Ji. That Dong Yang shouldn't be able to resist the temptation of our Great Sun Divine Palace. After all, he awakened the Golden Crow bloodline and also cultivated the divine grade Golden Crow battle body. If he wants to have higher achievements in the future, he will have more hope in our Great Sun Divine Palace than in the Purple Cloud Palace. No one will go against their own future. However, when he really joins our Great Sun Divine Palace, Palace Lord won't really give him the position of an elder, right? He is only in the Vision Divine Realm and joined our Great Sun Divine Palace halfway. How about joining our Great Sun Divine Palace halfway? So what if he is in the Vision Divine Realm? It's just an elder position, everything will have to wait until he joins our Great Sun Divine Palace first. Once he joins our Great Sun Divine Palace will have the initiative. At that time, we can just give him the title of elder. You have to know that the power of a principal elder and an elder with an empty title is completely different. Star Worship Palace Lord's words made Du Sen slightly dazed. However, he immediately understood the Palace Lord's plan and smiled. Palace Lord is right. No matter what, let's pull him into our Great Sun Divine Palace first. Xing Ji nodded with a smile. While Xing Ji and Du Sen were discussing Tsing Hui had already arrived at the Burning Sky Sect's encampment. After talking with Star Worship Palace Lord and going to the Scripture Pavilion to choose 4 supreme immortal techniques and a treasure refining technique, he had already missed the time for the private trade fair. Now, it was already late at night. Moreover, he didn't have the qualifications to enter the private trade fair. He could only withdraw his thoughts and return to his room to recharge his energy and wait for the next day's battle of the top 10. The sun rose and the moon set and the sun rose. Early the next morning, the Burning Sky Sex group brought Tsing Hui to the venue of the Fortune Grand Assembly. However, it was unknown whether it was because Wang Ke knew about the conflict between Tsing Hui and the Purple Cloud Palace or because he was delayed by other matters, but this time, Wang Ke, who represented the Purple Cloud Palace, was not by Huang Xiaolong's side to explain the details of each of his opponents. This slight change fell into the Burning Sky sect leader Yan Xian's heart, and she couldn't help but feel a little uneasy. However, considering that Xing Hui was already in the top 10 and qualified to comprehend the fortune divine jade, she quickly suppressed this trace of uneasiness. No matter what, their Burning Sky sect's goal had been achieved. They had shown enough face in the Fortune Grand Assembly and earned enough reputation. Swoosh! As the 6 Supreme Sect's representatives entered the arena, Du Sun, who had been in charge of judging, leaped into the air and landed in the center of the stage. Unknowingly, the Fortune Grand Assembly has reached its most intense moment. Similarly, everyone's attention is focused on this moment, and it's almost time to decide the strongest person in our Fortune Mainland's younger generation. Everyone's time is precious, so I won't waste any more words and will directly start the most intense competition. According to the previous rules, in order to prevent people from missing out on the qualifications to compete for the lower rankings, this time, the competition will start from the first place King's Throne. Now, let's welcome the first place contender to the stage. Just as Du Sun finished speaking, several people simultaneously leaped into the air and landed on the center stage. The 6 Supreme Sect Seed Disciples were among them. Other than the 6 Supreme Sect Seed Disciples, there was also Ling Huyu and the White Tiger Sect's Holy Prince Bai Lu, whom Wang Ke had deemed as the biggest threat to him. As for the Fire Phoenix Cult's Deputy Sect Leader Yu Yan and Burning Sky Sect's Xing Hui, there were no movements for the time being. The first place will be decided first. Logically speaking, shouldn't the first place be decided at the last moment? Xing Hui looked at the various sect seed disciples entering the arena. With no one to explain for him, he could only take the initiative to ask the Burning Sky Sect's sect chief Rockheart. This is the Fortune Grand Assembly's rule, and at the same time, it's to prevent people from being eliminated. You must know that the 6 Supreme Sect's genius disciples are all proud and arrogant. Other than the top 3, they wouldn't put any other rankings in their eyes. Therefore, in order to compete for the top 3 rankings, the 6 Supreme Sect's disciples are bound to battle. If the 10th to 4th place is decided early, what if the 6 Supreme Sect seed disciples are unwilling to compete for the 4th to 6th place? Wouldn't that be awkward? In order to avoid this kind of situation, the Fortune Grand Assembly's top 3 has always been decided at the first moment. This way, after someone suppresses the crowd and defeats the 9 competitors, the remaining people can continue to compete for the 2nd and 3rd place positions. What if no one can suppress the crowd? Then the ranking will be based on the number of matches won. Rockheart explained. At the end, he smiled at Xing Hui and said, "Elder Dong Yang, do you want to go up and test the difference in strength between yourself and the genius disciple who has the highest chance of obtaining the first place? This is an extremely rare opportunity. With this experience, the next time Elder Dong Yang participates in the Fortune Grand Assembly, you might be able to break the 6 Supreme Sect's monopoly on the top 6 rankings." When Xing Hui saw that the Fire Phoenix Cult's Deputy Sect Leader Yu Yan had gone up and he was the only one left, he immediately stood up and said, "Test the strength of the first place." That's exactly what I was thinking. Chapter 319. Xing Hui leaped and stepped onto the stage. However, the gazes of everyone present did not linger on him. The only one that glanced at him was Gauchen of the Purple Cloud Palace. However, the gaze he used to look at Xing Hui wasn't serious, but gloomy with a trace of cruelty. Very well. Then, the competition for the number 1 position of this Fortune Conference will officially begin. Anyone who can win 9 matches will become the number 1 position of this year's Fortune Conference. Anyone who admits defeat after being challenged will automatically be considered a failure and will only have the qualifications to compete for the number 2 position. If they admit defeat twice, they will only have the qualifications to compete for the number 3 position. So on and so forth. I wonder who among the young elites will be first. Du Sun said. I'll do it. Nan Tian Do, one of the three most likely to compete for the number one position of the Fortune Conference, was the first to step onto the stage. His gaze swept across the crowd and landed on the vice sect master of the Fire Phoenix sect, Hunyuan. The first match will be between the two of us. Do you choose to fight with me or admit defeat? Hunyuan looked at Nantian-do, who was slowly taking out his star pearl, and her face slightly changed. Shortly after, she unwillingly said, I admit defeat. Humph, do you really think that will be like the previous Fortune Conference, where both sides will be injured and let you guys take advantage of us? Dao Wuya of the Three Clear sect coldly laughed. Hearing this, the faces of the few heavens prides from the great sects changed. The reason why they all went up to compete for the number one position was because they were hoping that Nantian-do, Dao Wuya, and Lu Jiuhua would fight each other and end up injured, allowing them to take advantage of the situation. After all, although the winner would be able to rest for a day, if their injuries were too severe, a day wouldn't be enough for them to recover to their peak condition. Ling Huyu. You want to fight to the death? You guys should know about my star pearl. It contains the power of a star. I can't control the weight of such a treasure. If I accidentally smash you guys to death, then don't blame me. After Hunyuan retreated, Nantian-do's gaze landed on Ling Huyu with killing intent in his eyes. Ling Huyu weighed her options and finally took a step back. I know that I can't take an all-out attack from the star pearl. I admit defeat. At least you know your place. Bai Lu from the White Tiger sect and Dong Yang from the Burning Sky sect, do I need to name them one by one? Why, don't they have any self-awareness? All you can think about is taking advantage of the situation. Why don't you take a look at yourself first? At first, Bai Lu was still considering whether he could withstand the power of the star pearl. However, after being provoked by Nantian-do, the young man's desire to fight was aroused. He immediately said angrily, I really want to see how powerful my white tiger killing skill is. Please enlighten me. Huh? Nantian-do looked at Bai Lu and his face darkened. He realized that he had gone too far and felt a bit of regret. However, in the blink of an eye, that regret disappeared. Bai Lu was at the true energy realm. Although he had awakened the White Tiger's bloodline and cultivated the White Tiger's chi when he was at the Earth energy realm, he failed to condense a combat body and only managed to cultivate a spiritual combat body. Because the fortune gathering was approaching, he managed to cultivate a true energy realm with the help of many treasures. However, he still didn't think highly of him. On the contrary, Dong Yang from the Burning Sky sect, who had cultivated a divine combat body, gave him a feeling that he couldn't see through him. This was also the reason why he had provoked Bai Lu and Dong Yang. Seeing that Bai Lu was really going to fight him, Nantian-do did not back down. His eyes flashed with a murderous light. Bai Lu, is it? Come, come, come. I want to see if your white tiger killing skill can withstand an attack from my star pearl. Do you think I'm afraid of you? Come. Bai Lu stepped forward. Without needing Descendo to say anything, the rest of the people left the stage and returned to their respective mountains. They carefully watched the battle between Bai Lu and Nantian-do. The eyes of Dao Wuya from the Three Pristines Temple and Lu Jihua from the Great Sun Divine Palace were especially bright. The two of them and Nantian-do were the best candidates for the throne. The rest of the people, including the geniuses from the Heavenly Court, the Netherworld sect, and the Purple Cloud Palace, were not worthy of their attention. Perhaps their cultivation was similar to theirs, but their celestial skills and secret treasures were inferior to theirs. Now that they had the opportunity to witness the battle between Nantian-do and Bai Lu, who was not weak, they naturally did not want to miss any details. This time, the participants of the fortune pageant are much smarter. In the previous fortune pageant, there were 4 seeded contestants who directly fought at the beginning, causing both sides to suffer heavy losses. In the end, the first place actually fell into the hands of someone who originally had no hope of making it into the top 3. In the end, although the few of them also obtained good rankings, the first place was taken away by someone else, which was a lifelong humiliation for them. This time, Nan Tian-do, Dao Wuya, and Sacrificial Flame Lu have learned their lesson from the previous fortune pageant. It's a pity for the others. This time, the top three are really hopeless for them. Besides Xing Hui, the sect master of the Burning Sky sect, Rockheart, said helplessly. Originally, she was hoping that Xing Hui would encounter such a good thing and take advantage of the situation at the crucial moment. If the Burning Sky sect could occupy a place in the top three, the influence it would bring would be far greater than the top 10. But now, it seemed, their hopes were slim. Xing Hui did not reply. Instead, he looked at the field. At this moment, the battle between Nan Tian-do and Bai Lu had already begun. Although Bai Lu had not cultivated the White Tiger battle body, he still cultivated the Heavenly Tiger battle body, which was at the peak of the spiritual grade. His battle strength was tyrannical. Even if the 7th grade divine weapon in his hand was not worthy of his identity as a true energy boundary expert, his battle strength was still extremely tyrannical. At least, the prominent divine stage experts like Yuan He and Qin Zhen, who Xing Hui had fought before, would not be his match even if they attacked together. But, compared to Nan Tian-do, he was still a little inferior. Nan Tian-do's divine ability was the Star Shift Dipper. It was proficient in borrowing strength to fight strength. His secret treasure, the Star Pearl, contained the power of a star. How powerful would the Star Pearl be when it fell? If Bai Lu was proficient in a defensive celestial technique, it would be easier. He might be able to use such a celestial technique to stall Nan Tian-do until he exhausted all the true energy in his body. Unfortunately, the White Tiger killing skill was a powerful secret technique that placed great emphasis on the cultivator's aura. It required the cultivator to kill to stop the killing. When faced with the tyrannical Star Pearl, he could not even unleash 60% of its power. The two of them collided in the void. Bai Lu spat out blood as he was sent flying by the Star Pearl. Before Bai Lu could unleash his blood essence to launch another attack, the Star Pearl had already smashed down again. One attack, and one attack after another. That was how Nan Tian-do relied on the Star Pearl's tyrannical power to continuously smash down. Bai Lu, who was not good at defense, speed, or fighting, was smashed until his internal organs were destroyed. If the White Tiger sect master had not admitted defeat on behalf of Bai Lu at the critical moment, the White Tiger sect's prodigy would have been smashed to death by the Star Pearl. This Star Pearl is too domineering. It doesn't matter what divine ability or technique you have, it'll be smashed into dust with just one attack. This is an unreasonable secret treasure. Rockheart was shocked when she saw Bai Lu being defeated. Even if she, the sect master of a first-rate sect, the Burning Sky sect, personally went up to fight Nan Tian-do, the primordial sect's prodigy, she would not fare any better than Bai Lu. Although the Star Pearl consumed a lot of true energy every time it was used, the Burning Sky sect's burning destruction technique was useless against the power of a star. Moreover, Nan Tian-do had mastered the Star Shift Dipper, which was good at defense. It made up for his shortcomings. He had both offense and defense. This is a prodigy cultivated by a supreme sect. Compared to the prodigies of ordinary sects, he's much stronger. Even Bai Lu, a true energy realm cultivator, couldn't do anything to him. Elder Dong Yang, when the time comes, you'd better act according to your strength. It's not a big deal to lose the battle, but if you're not careful and get smashed to death by the Star Pearl, you'll regret it for the rest of your life. Elder Qinshuo, who was standing by the side, consoled him without any hope. I know what I'm doing. Xing Hui said in a deep voice. The Star Pearl, it was good stuff. If he could take the Star Orb with him to the Eastern Barren Territory, he would be able to smash a true energy realm warrior to death. Not even a transcendent state warrior would be able to withstand the power of the Star Orb head-on. It would be perfect for destroying cities and lakes. Unfortunately, the Star Pearl was precious. The 12 star pearls were the most precious treasures of the primordial sect. If not for Nantian Do's talent and the primordial sect's high hopes for him to shine at the Fortune Festival, he would not have been given such a precious treasure. Anyone who took the star pearl from Nantian Do would immediately become the primordial sect's mortal enemy. The prodigy of the White Tiger sect is just as so. Nantian Do sneered when he saw Bai Lu spitting out blood and being saved by the sect master of the White Tiger sect. At this moment, Du Sen's voice sounded. Do you want to continue the challenge, or do you want to rest for a day and recover your energy before fighting with Lord Dong Yang of the Burning Sky sect? Originally, using the star beads several times had indeed consumed a lot of Nantian Do's Shen Qi. He had already intended to rest and fight again tomorrow, but Du Sen did not lower his voice at all, and his voice spread throughout the battlefield. Thinking back to how he had just reprimanded Bai Lu and Dong Yang for not knowing their own limits, if he retreated at this time out of caution, wouldn't it prove that he was afraid of Burning Sky sect's Dong Yang? That would be slapping his own face. Therefore, he paused for a moment and said loudly, "Why do I need to rest? If I need to rest for a day against a prominent divine realm cultivator, wouldn't I be a laughingstock?" Then, he turned to the Burning Sky sect and said with a forceful look, "Burning Sky sect's Dong Yang. The number 1 position isn't something a prominent divine realm cultivator like you can get. Do you want to come down and fight?" Compared to the ridicule he had directed at the two of them earlier, he could be said to be much more polite. Clearly, he had realized his own problem, so he was unwilling to provoke Qing Su with his words. Otherwise, Qing Su would end up like Bai Lu and step down from the stage to fight him to the death once more for the sake of face, exposing his methods for no reason. Unfortunately, Xing Hui wanted to become the number 1 person in the creation banquet, so Nantian Do's words did not have any effect. He stood up and jumped toward the platform in the middle of the mountain under the shocked gazes of Yan Xin, Chen Shua, and the others. I want to see how the number 1 person in the creation banquet is like. Chapter 320. Dong Yang, you, Rockheart was stunned. Sigh, he's still young and can't take any provocation. Chen Shua sighed. He thought that Xing Hui had been humiliated by Nantian Do and couldn't take it lying down. He wanted to fight Nantian Do even if he had to get injured. Brother Nantian Do has shot himself in the foot. He can only blame himself for being too arrogant. Lu Jihua, the genius of the Great Sun Divine Palace, gloated as he watched Nantian Do face another challenge. This brat is lucky. If he's crippled by Nantian Do, he won't just give up on all the battles, right? When that time comes, I'm afraid I won't have the chance to kill him while he's in the arena. In the direction of the Purple Cloud Palace, Gao Chen's expression was gloomy as he watched Xing Hui enter the arena. Ever since he, Gao Chen, became a rare prodigy of the Purple Firmament Palace, everything he did had been smooth sailing. Let alone a mere prominent divine genius guest elder, even the elders who were at the true energy realm like him and the great elders who wielded great authority in the Purple Firmament Palace all tried to befriend him in hopes that he would be put in an important position when he became the young palace master of the Purple Firmament Palace in the future. He had never thought that Qing Su would humiliate him so viciously while everything was going smoothly. He had asked this brat for the right to comprehend the Fortune Jade, and he dared not give it to him. This was the biggest humiliation he had suffered in the past few years. You have guts. You actually dare to come down and fight me? Could it be that you think you're stronger than Bai Lu? After all, you're only at the Vision Saint stage, while Bai Lu is a true energy stage expert. Bai Lu can rely on his dense true energy to barely contend against my Star Pearl, but you? What do you rely on to resist my Star Pearl? Your divine grade Golden Crow battle body. Let's not talk about the power of the Golden Crow battle body. If I don't fight you head-on, how long can your divine grade Golden Crow battle body last? Nantian Do looked at Xing Hui with a strange look in his eyes. He wanted to use words to force Xing Hui to surrender. Won't you know once you give it a try? You are a true energy realm expert, and you have a precious treasure like the star bead. You have also cultivated a supreme celestial art like the star shift. Although I don't have much confidence in defeating you, I still don't want to miss the opportunity to fight with you. After all, I am still young. If the next good fortune pageant can be held within 20 years, I will still have the opportunity to participate in the next good fortune pageant. After I understand the strength of the contenders for the first position, I can confirm my specific strength and determine the ranking of the next good fortune pageant. Tsing Hui's words carried a hint of weakness. He had already admitted that he was inferior to Nan Tian-do. Hearing this, Nan Tian-do snorted coldly. I'm just afraid that you won't be able to withstand my Star Pearl's attack and die on the spot. You won't have another chance to participate in the Creation Grand Gathering. If that's the case, then I can only blame my bad luck. However, I feel that with the Golden Crow body, it won't be a problem for me to block 1 or 2 attacks from Your Excellency Southern Sky Dipper. If I feel that the Golden Crow body is about to collapse after a few rounds of attacks, I will immediately admit defeat to ensure my own safety. When Nan Tian-do saw how Qing Su had already considered his options and was completely prepared to admit defeat, yet he still insisted on fighting him stubbornly, Nan Tian-do snorted angrily, since you want to embarrass yourself before so many fellow cultivators, I'll fulfill your wish. At this moment, Du Sen saw that the conversation between the two had come to an end. He opened his mouth and said, Are the two of you ready? I am ready. Tsing Hui said. Where is your weapon? Without a weapon, you can't withstand a single attack from my star bead. Nan Tian-do said coldly. I plan to test the Golden Crow divine body against the star bead before making a decision. If the Golden Crow divine body can't even withstand a single attack from the star bead without a weapon, then it proves that the gap between us is too big. At that time, it doesn't matter if I use a weapon or not. Since you want to see it, I will fulfill your wish. A cold light flashed across Nan Tian-do's eyes. He then nodded to Du Sen, indicating that he was ready. Seeing this, Du Sen immediately flew into the void and ordered, The battle begins. Seeing that Du Sen had announced the start of the battle, Nan Tian-do activated his true yuan and slowly took out the top secret treasure in his hand. He said coldly, Since you want to see the gap between yourself and a cultivator like me, who is destined to win the throne of the Creation Grand Gathering, I will fulfill your wish, grumble. Before Nan Tian-do could finish his words, a terrifying force suddenly rose into the sky. It was as if a dazzling sun had jumped out from the horizon in an instant, bursting forth with unprecedented radiance. The boundless radiance was so dazzling that everyone could barely open their eyes at this moment. They could only vaguely hear a low shout of 2 words coming from within the extremely vast and dazzling sunlight. Sun glory. Then, an even more violent force erupted and swept across. Just as this violent and destructive force was about to spread completely in the form of a sun that could destroy the world, enveloping the entire mountain peak and even the venue of the Creation Grand Gathering, the 4 Transcendent Realm cultivators reacted at the same time. Oh no! Don't let this force spread. What a terrifying power, what kind of move is this? The 4 Transcendent Realm cultivators acted at the same time, forcibly restraining the explosive force that was about to spread out at the center of the stage. Even so, that vast and violent aura still rushed out of the stage, hitting the faces of the spectators, making them feel as if they were caught in a raging inferno. If it weren't for the fact that a third of the Fortune Mainland's experts were gathered at this Creation Grand Gathering, including many Transcendent Realm and Never-Ending Realm cultivators, which neutralized and suppressed the explosive force at the critical moment, there would have been hundreds and thousands of true Qi and Spirit-refining Realm cultivators dying from serious injuries even with the 4 Transcendent Realm cultivators. Could this be the innate ability of the Golden Crow physique? In the direction of the Great Sun Divine Palace, Palace Master Xing Ji, who had obtained the Great Sun Golden Crow Technique secret treasure, his eyes lit up. Although the four Transcendent Realm cultivators were unable to fully suppress the explosive force contained in Tsing Hui's sword strike because they did not react in time, it was enough to prove how powerful Tsing Hui's sword strike was. It had definitely reached the level of a Transcendent Realm cultivator's full-strength attack. A prominent Divine Realm cultivator was actually able to erupt with power that was close to a Transcendent Realm cultivator's full-strength attack. Then, when he reached the true element boundary, or even the Transcendent Realm, how strong would his battle strength be? Not only Xing Ji, but the other Supreme Sex cultivators' faces also changed drastically as they looked at the gradually dissipating flames in the center of the stage. Their expressions were extremely solemn. Among these people, the Grand Elder of the Grand Beginning Sect and the Purple Firmament Palace's Xiang Hong were the most shocked. What kind of secret technique does this brat possess? How could a single sword strike have such power? Is it a supreme immortal technique stolen from our Purple Firmament Palace? Xiang Hong's face darkened. Our Purple Firmament Palace doesn't have such a sword technique, Xiang Jun replied helplessly. Gao Chen opened his mouth and wanted to say something, but in the end, he could only say, such a powerful secret technique must have serious after-effects. Otherwise, everyone would be cultivating the secret technique instead of breaking through to the next realm. That's right, that's right. Such a secret technique must have endless after-effects. I think this brat is young and impetuous and can't take any provocation. That's why he didn't hesitate to use such a mutually destructive secret technique in order to win. Xiang Hong nodded slightly. If a prominent Divine Realm cultivator was able to use such a powerful secret technique without any after-effects, wouldn't he be invincible in the world? Xiang Hong wasn't the only one who thought so. The other people from the great sects who were shocked also came to their senses. They felt that they were making a fuss over nothing and focused on the center of the stage, wanting to see what Tsing Hui looked like. As the blazing flames were suppressed by the joint efforts of the four Transcendent Realm experts led by Du Sun, the scene above was revealed. At this time, the originally extremely sturdy arena had been burned into glass by the terrifying heat of the Sword of the Glorious Sun. Some places had even been completely melted. In the center of the stage, Nantian Do, who was not dead but had completely lost his ability to resist, appeared in front of everyone. Opposite him was Tsing Hui, who looked pale and had obviously exhausted all of his genuine qi. The consequences are indeed serious. It seems that he has exhausted all of his genuine qi. Like I said, such a powerful secret technique can't have no after-effects. Since he has cultivated a divine-grade battle body, he must have condensed divine-grade genuine qi. It's not easy to recover his divine-grade genuine qi. Even with the help of elixirs, it will take 3 to 5 days. Although the winner can apply for a day's rest, it's not enough for him to recover his genuine qi. If he loses 3 or 4 rounds in a row, even if he wins this round, I'm afraid he won't be able to enter the top 3. Seeing Tsing Hui's weak appearance, many of the experts who were watching suddenly breathed a sigh of relief. On the stage, Tsing Hui suppressed the feeling of emptiness in his body, took a deep breath, and said coldly to Nantian Do, although I don't know much about myself, I still have the power to attack if I give up everything. Now, it seems that my attack has had an effect. When these words fell into the ears of the crowd, they confirmed their previous guess. A warrior can be killed but not humiliated. Nantian Do really has a loose tongue. Which of those who can stand out and enter the top 10 in the Creation Festival don't have some trump cards? No matter how strong he is, he shouldn't have bullied others and forced them to fight to the death. Speaking of which, Dong Yang is quite scheming. He said that he wanted to test the power of the Star Pearl, which made Nantian Do mistakenly think that he would focus on defense at the beginning. That's why Nantian Do took out the Star Pearl at the beginning of the battle. Who would have thought that Dong Yang would use all his strength to perform a secret technique that can greatly damage his vitality? I have to say, Nantian Do lost unjustly. After hearing what you said, I also have the same feeling. This secret technique only has the power for one attack. After that, one's genuine qi will be exhausted. If Nantian Do had been prepared and retreated the moment Dong Yang attacked, or used the substitution celestial technique to avoid the fatal attack, wouldn't Dong Yang's life be in Nantian Do's hands when his genuine qi was exhausted? Because of Dong Yang's words, Nantian Do made the wrong judgment and was hit by Dong Yang's attack. Nantian Do lost unjustly. Nantian Do was careless. It's a pity that he missed the opportunity to become number one. The voices of the elders rang out again. They had all kinds of opinions and words, and they all felt sorry for Nantian Do who missed the opportunity to become number one. Chapter 321. On the stage, Xing Hui ignored the discussions of the elders. He turned to Du Sen and said, "Judge, please announce the result of this battle." Du Sen was stunned for a moment, but he reacted quickly. He looked at Xing Hui with a complicated expression. It was rare to see an unorthodox cultivator like Xing Hui defeat one of the 6 supreme sects-seeded contestants. However, when he thought about the fact that Xing Hui would soon be recruited by the Great Sun Divine Palace as an elder, a smile appeared on his face. He nodded at Xing Hui and announced loudly, "The winner of this battle is Dong Yang of the Burning Sky sect. Your Excellency Dong Yang has accumulated 1 victory. Do you want to continue the battle, or, I choose to rest for a day and continue the battle tomorrow?" Xing Hui said without hesitation. "Good." Du Sen nodded and said, "Then, Your Excellency Dong Yang, please step down. Let's invite the next contestant to the stage." Xing Hui smiled bitterly and cupped his fists at Du Sen. "I don't have any true qi in my body right now. Elder, please send me on my way." Du Sen was stunned for a moment, but he smiled and nodded. "It seems like you're really going all out with this attack. That's how this secret technique works. Once I make a move, all the Jinqi in my body will be used up. It's not up to me. It's amazing. The person who created this secret technique must be a transcendent realm cultivator. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to use all his strength in one go." Du Sen said as he circulated his true qi and wrapped it around Xing Hui. He then sent Xing Hui towards the Burning Sky sect. When everyone saw this scene, they lowered their guard against Xing Hui. He has really used up all his true qi. He can't even fly with his sword. If he can't kill his target with this attack, wouldn't he be like a fish on a chopping board? Strictly speaking, such a secret technique is still somewhat useless. It's not that useless. If he is facing an enemy 1 or 2 times stronger than him, would he use this attack to fight to the death, or would he be killed? He knows what to choose without thinking. That's true. The discussion once again reverberated through the crowd. Dao Wuya, Lu Jianhua, and the other cultivators who had the ambition to take the number 1 seat all let out a sigh of relief. This kind of secret technique, which was full of drawbacks, could play a significant role under special circumstances, but once the opponent was prepared, it was not worth mentioning. Xing Hui was escorted by Du Sen to the Burning Sky sect's camp. The Burning Sky sect's people looked at Xing Hui's weak appearance and couldn't help but reveal a worried expression. "Elder Dong Yang, you don't have the strength to compete for the throne. Why do you have to offend the primeval sect?" "That's right. If you have the confidence to compete for first place, our Burning Sky sect will do everything in our power to give you sufficient support. However, is there a need to go to this extent for the sake of mere personal feelings? I have my own considerations," Xing Hui said. He didn't want to say anything more. He also didn't mind the noise around him. He sat down cross-legged and started to recover his real qi. It wasn't that he didn't want to return to the Burning Sky sect's courtyard, but he didn't want to miss this opportunity to understand the strength of the other supreme cultivators. The other supreme cultivators looked at each other, especially Dao Wuya and Lu Jianhua. With Nantian Do's example as an example, the 2 of them naturally didn't want to repeat the same mistake. "Brother Wuya, there are still 3 people left who can be challenged. They are all supreme cultivators of our supreme sections. I will take care of the Purple Cloud Palace's Gauchen, and you will take care of the Netherworld sects and Heavenly Court's contestants. What do you think? Although you fought one more battle, I am willing to challenge Dong Yang first when the fortune pageant resumes tomorrow. Lu Jianhua's voice echoed in Dao Wuya's ears. Humph. The Burning Sky sect's Dongyang real qi has been completely used up. Even if they can recover their real qi in a day, how much can they recover? Why don't I take care of the Purple Cloud Palace's Gauchen, and you take care of the Netherworld sects and Heavenly Court supreme cultivators? Since Brother Wuya thinks that Dongyang and Gauchen are easier to deal with, I will do as Brother Wuya wishes. Do you want to go first, or should I? The guest will follow the host's decision. Then let me experience the skills of the Netherworld sect's Holy Son. As Lu Jianhua spoke, he leaped up and landed in the middle of the platform. He looked in the direction of the Netherworld sect. Netherworld Holy Son, it has been many years since we last met. Can we have a chat? The Netherworld Holy Son glanced at Lu Jianhua. After a moment of silence, he said, I have no intention of competing for the throne. I admit defeat. Hearing the Netherworld Holy Son admit defeat, the crowd was in an uproar. Even Dao Wuya felt like he had been cheated. Thank you, Netherworld Holy Son. In the future, I, Lu Jianhua, will definitely pay you a visit to thank you. As Lu Jianhua spoke, he turned to the Heavenly Court Supreme Cultivator. The Heavenly Court Supreme Cultivator did not exchange pleasantries. He leaped up and landed in the middle of the platform. I have heard of the Great Sun Divine Palace's 10-Sun Burning Sky Immortal Technique for a long time. Today, I would like to see it for myself. Since you wish to see it, I will naturally fulfill your wish. 10-Sun Burning Sky. Xing Hui raised his head and looked at the middle of the platform. Xing Hui was very curious about the supreme immortal technique of the Great Sun Divine Palace. Even though this immortal technique was not known as the most difficult immortal technique to cultivate like the three purities with the one qi, reverse reading of the future, and instant blooming of flowers, it was definitely one of the most powerful and most domineering supreme immortal techniques. With this immortal technique and the high-grade fire aversion pearl, Lu Shiguo was actually the strongest competitor for the throne of first place in Qingsu. The battle between the two on the platform quickly erupted. Both of them were true energy realm cultivators. Even though the Heavenly Court's prodigies didn't possess any particularly powerful immortal arts, they still possessed considerable battle prowess with the aid of other immortal arts. They were actually able to hold their own against sacrificial fire Lu. Seeing that ordinary methods could not take down the Heavenly Court Supreme Cultivator, Lu Jianhua did not waste any more time. He immediately summoned a secret treasure in his hand. This secret treasure rose into the sky and turned into a blazing sun. Endless radiance and vast heat immediately poured down. In terms of heat and temperature alone, it was not much inferior to Xing Hui's glorious sun sword. 10-Sun Burning Sky. Rockhart looked at Lu Jianhua's technique and sighed with emotion. This is the Great Sun Divine Palace's most powerful immortal technique. Xing Hui frowned as he looked at the blazing sun in the sky. He did not see the use of this immortal technique. This blazing power might be enough to deal with blue underworld realm or even prominent divine realm cultivators, but it might not be effective against true energy realm cultivators. Rockhart looked at Qing Su from one side as if he could see what he was thinking. The key is how many days he's cultivated it. Lu Xian's sacrificial flames seem to have reached 4 days, but even if 4 suns hover in the air, the scorching power is still nothing to true energy realm experts. The true power of the 10 suns incineration immortal technique is that it can use the power of the 10 suns to create a field similar to a domain. In this field, cultivators with the Golden Crow bloodline who are born with the power of the sun are basically invincible. Not only can they constantly obtain power from the 10 suns, but even if their battle physique is dispersed, they can still quickly reform it. They're basically indestructible. A domain-like existence. Xing Hui's expression changed slightly. Domain. That was a technique that only true divine realm cultivators could use. 10 sun burning sky could actually create a domain. Inconceivable. However, that is the truth. The founder of the Great Sun Divine Palace, who had pushed it from a first-rate sect to a supreme sect, had cultivated this supreme immortal art to the realm of 7 suns in the sky. Even though this supreme immortal art had yet to reach perfection, the founder of the Great Sun Divine Palace was still able to fight against 10 never-ending realm experts by himself. In the end, the founder of the Great Sun Divine Palace had to rely on other methods to break through his 10 suns domain. Through that battle, the founder of the Great Sun Divine Palace became the #1 expert in the entire Fortune mainland. In the following years, the founder of the Great Sun Divine Palace grew stronger and stronger, eventually becoming one of the 6 supreme sects of the Fortune mainland. Rockheart looked at Lu Jianhua, who had already summoned 3 suns, and an indescribable light flickered in his eyes. It is rumored that cultivators with the Golden Crow bloodline would be able to gain a shocking amount of power in the 10 sun burning sky domain. However, the closer their bloodline is to the Great Sun Golden Crow, the greater the effect. Take Lu Jianhua for example. If he had cultivated the Golden Crow physique, then under the 4 suns in the sky domain, there would be very few transformative realm cultivators who could be his opponent. A sun domain that can continuously gain power. Xing Hui looked at Lu Jianhua's technique with a burning gaze. If he could obtain this supreme immortal art, his combat strength would definitely increase by a lot. On the platform, just as Rockheart had said, Lu Jianhua's vital essence seemed to be limitless with the help of the sun domain formed by the 3 suns in the sky. He continued to use powerful killing moves without worrying about energy consumption. Blazing airwaves swept in all directions. If it weren't for the 4 transformative realm cultivators of the Great Sun Divine Palace trying their best to suppress the spread of power, the void within a radius of dozens of kilometers would have turned into a sea of fire. Even so, the surrounding temperature was still rising rapidly. An ordinary person would have died of dehydration after staying in this area for half an hour. Lu Jianhua has cultivated a saint-grade battle body, and his vital essence has fallen to spirit grade. Logically speaking, his battle body shouldn't have manifested for more than half an hour, but now, it's more than half an hour. An hour is almost up. The 3 suns domain is constantly absorbing the blazing energy that escapes from his battles, turning it into energy that is once again absorbed by the sacrificial flames, causing his true essence consumption to only be a third of that of a normal battle. Xing Hui's eyes sparkled as he stared at the 2 people fighting. This immortal art was very effective for him. If he could really get his hands on this immortal art and cultivate it, he would be able to solve the problem of the Golden Crow divine body's excessive vital essence consumption. In the future, it wouldn't be difficult for him to roam the eastern wilderness with his prominent divine cultivation. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.